number 2. Call Term Provider at 800-444-9336. That's 800-444-9336. For $1 million in term life insurance that you can live with, call Big Lou at 800-444-9336.
710 ESPN, your home for the 17-time world champion Lakers.
KSPN Los Angeles, a Good Karma Brands radio station.
It is Travis Rogers. It is DeMarco Farr. The Travis and DeMarco Show is on for your Thursday. Here we go, Thursday, June 19th edition. And DeMarco, again, as the sickness continues, Andy Kamenetsky, who did double duty last night, did this show yesterday. And then the world ended when the announcement came that GD Bus is selling the Lakers to the Dodgers, essentially. He did a night show from 6 to 8 p.m. with Beto Duran last night, taking live reaction. And now he's back in for DeMarco. Travis and Andy, along with producer and producer Jorge, the social team in the back, as we react to the news that the Lakers have been sold. No more Bus family. At least we'd think that's how it's all going to shake out. We're going to react to that. Plus, Dodgers, Padres last night, and Game 6 of the NBA Finals tonight. Let's do it. The Travis and DeMarco Show with Andy in for DeMarco. Your Thursday right now.
Yeah! Quad duty for you yesterday. It was the Travis and DeMarco Show. It was a double locked-on pod for you. And then, of course, the emergency show with Beto yesterday because of the shocking, unbelievable, and quite frankly, this is where I land emotionally on all of this, the awesome news that Mark Walter has bought the Los Angeles Lakers. It's just, I mean, you and I were talking just a few seconds ago that something this big, something this exciting, something this, two brands kind of not getting merged, but the guy that owned the Dodgers bought the Lakers and caught just about everybody by surprise yesterday is exceptionally exciting.
Well, if you look at the dynamics of this, Mark Walter, head of the Dodger ownership and now head of the Laker ownership, he's in a place in life where he doesn't really have to check in with anybody with what he's doing. No, I guess
not.
Like, he can make, I'm not saying this was all unilateral, but he can make a lot of these decisions, and I think himself, without having to check in with too many people. And then the Lakers side of things, and we've talked about this a lot over the years, their front office, their shop is so small that in a lot of ways there is nobody to tell.
No,
there is no gossiping to be had.
I guess if there is a way to keep a story this huge under wraps until it's basically done, this is the formula for how to do it. I'm sure you mentioned this yesterday, but just I kind of want to go through it again for myself and what was your first reaction when you saw it? Like when all of a sudden the Shams report drops yesterday that the Lakers are being sold to Mark Walter, my reaction was awesome.
Yes.
It wasn't even like this is shocking. It is. This is a little, confusing a little bit, but basically it was, are you kidding me? Okay, they're sold. Wow, who bought them? Wait. There aren't two Mark Walters, right? Nope, there's one. The same guy's buying this. This is awesome.
It went from, in a lot of ways, exactly how you described it. There's the whoa, and then you're like double, triple checking to make sure this is actually Shams. Shams was not hacked. All the other people you're starting to see weighing in. Is this really Dan Wojcicki's account? Is this really Ramona Shelburne's account? Yep. All those different things. So you go from whoa, then you see it's Mark Walter, and it's like, you know what? This was inevitably how it was going to happen when it eventually did. And there had been rumblings that the Buss family had been more open towards selling the team for a variety of reasons that we're going to get into, that this was something that needed to happen. And Mark Walter always seemed like the most obvious choice between having been a 27% shareholder, like the highest ranking shareholder, the most majority shareholder not named Buss, was Mark Walter. And right of first refusal, he's already been in the sports ownership business in a lot. He's got his hands in a lot of different pots. So there's inevitability. And then once the inevitability has sunk in, to your point, the thought is awesome.
Yes.
This is fantastic news for the Lakers.
Because so often, and we want to get your reaction to this as well. So 877-710-ESPN, 877-710-3776, and we'll take Laker fans' reactions. Quite frankly, Dodger fan reaction too. And, those two Venn diagrams have a lot of overlap, so I'm sure that
there's always been a lot of overlap anyway.
For sure. But there's an element to this that usually when a team changes hands, it's interesting, it's exciting. Sometimes it can be a little trepidation involved in going in there. Like, I don't quite know what it is that this is going to be like. Who is this person? What kind of finances do they have? How are they going to run a team? What is their business? Where does the money come from? None of that with this. This was the guy that we know, the guy that has a proven track record of not just, he does a pretty good job, of excellence in every possible way, of reinvesting in the team, of hiring really good, smart people, of letting really good, smart people do their job, of providing a fan experience that is really high level. And it's not just we showed up, we did it, and we kind of like they continue to push forward. They continue to grow their brand. They continue to try to find new ways to excite their fans. And now they got their hands on another Tiffany branded entity that they can. And I understand that the structure of Major League Baseball is different than the structure of the NBA, but just the guy that's calling the shot, the guy who ultimately says yay, nay, yes, no, stop, go, it's the same guy who's going to run it with the same philosophy. So there's none of this, I don't know how this is going to go. The new owner syndrome, where sometimes they come in and they do crazy stuff. It's like, dude, I know you don't know what you're doing yet. Calm down. None of that is at play here. An expert sports owner just took control of one of the most prestigious brands in all of American sports, and it's going to be awesome.
One of the things I think is really important to remember is, like, Mark Walter has stupid money. Yes. Like, he is really, really wealthy. He is part of a conglomerate that is just, frankly, obscenely wealthy. The amount of money that they have at their disposal is...
He orders the second appetizer.
Yes, he does. Yeah. He orders for the table. He's fine ordering for the table.
He doesn't think about the check when it comes to the table.
I forgot. I'd love to give credit to this because I don't remember who said it, but it's the greatest. It was somebody who didn't have money who all of a sudden had as much money as they could ever need. And he goes, honestly, the way that I think of it is I never need to worry about ordering the second appetizer. Yeah. We just get it. If we finish it, great. If we don't, that's fine too.
But here's the thing. They've got stupid money. They have, like, seemingly unending resources, like reservoirs of money. But he cares. Like, he actually cares about the teams that he involved. Like, this is not a plaything for Mark Walter. Like, owning teams, having your hands in different leagues. This is not a plaything. This is not a status symbol. This is not this is not the sign that he's part of an exclusive club.
Right.
Does he know that he's part of an exclusive club? Yeah.
Maybe one of the most exclusive clubs. He might have just created a new club.
Right. Like, he's fully aware of all of it. But this is not about swinging his proverbial manhood around.
No.
Like, he actually cares about this stuff because there are a lot, increasingly all these teams across different sports, they are owned by different, like, venture capitalists, hedge fund people, like tech people, whatever. Mm-hmm. And for a lot of them, this is their plaything, their status symbol. Like, this is the ultimate sign of, I am incredibly successful. But it's not about the sports. He cares about the sports. He cares about the winning.
You could
he cares
not
about LA sports.
Right. You could not ask for a better entry point than what the Lakers have with Mark Walter. You could not ask for something that you could feel better about from the very first day, from the announcement, like we've been talking about right now, from the moment it dropped yesterday. What was it, 1 o'clock, 2 o'clock in the afternoon, whatever it was, to where we are right now. And just feeling good about this because of what you said. This isn't just a guy that's got a lot of money, right? Like, for instance, when Steve Ballmer bought the Clippers, had a lot of money, and it was like, let's see what it looks like.
He cares.
And it turns out he cares. And it turns out that he's invested, and the Clipper fans, I'm sure, are thrilled with Steve Ballmer taking control of their team. But there was that moment of, let's see what this looks like. Let's see how he's going to do it. There isn't any of that. This is just a transition because... And you said it a second ago, This is somebody that understands two things at the same time, but he's not willing to just say, okay, I got this thing and I'm just going to let this thing. He understands deeply tradition, history, the connection between a team and a city, and especially teams like the Dodgers and the Lakers. It is a generational thing that goes from in families. It is something that have been a part of this city going back 50, 60 years, and they are clearly the two teams in this town that people care the most about. They have rich traditions. They have rich championship traditions. They have rich traditions of star players and hanging banners and Hall of Fame players on their walls. But it's not just I bought something old and dusty that used to be great. It's here's something that used to be great that can be great again, that we're going to push forward and we're going to modernize simultaneously, and we're going to use modern technology, modern thought process, modern management to push this thing to new heights while continuing to enjoy the history and the tradition that this franchise has. And he's done it with the Dodgers. It is a perfect example. And he can do it with this, too.
They're going to honor the tradition. They're going to honor the legacy. They're going to honor the history. But unlike, if I'm being honest, what I think has gone on for too long with this franchise, they're not going to be trapped by it.
Yep.
It is felt for a long time, particularly in the wake of Dr. Buss's passing, in the way that things have been run since then, that the Lakers have been trapped by their own mythology. Like they've been held prisoner to it because there's always been we only do it this way. Mm-hmm. This is the way it's always been done. This is the way we think about branding ourselves. This is the way we think about presenting ourselves. We only build a team one way. They're going to bring in all this different diversity of experience, like you said, thought process. And I think they're going to honor that tradition, but they're not going to feel trapped by it. Like, I feel confident that if, say in 4 or 5 years, like hopefully that's maybe 5 to 10 years post Luka or wherever we are, if there's ever a time where the Lakers legitimately need to take a bit of a step backward in order to give themselves more runway to take 5 or 6 steps forward, they'll do that in part because they will be confident enough that they'll know how to do it, and they won't be trapped by the idea of the Lakers only compete for championships. Yes. Like, they're going to see more than one way to do something.
877-710-ESPN is the phone number if you want to get in and talk about how you're feeling about the Lakers sale to Mark Walter. 877-710-3776. And here is what's on tap today on 710 ESPN. Thanks to Michelob Ultra. Of course, Oklahoma City is just one win away from an NBA title. We'll talk about the Lakers. Coverage for Game 6 in Indiana begins at 5:30. You can hear it on your afternoon drive on 710 a.m. or on the all-new ESPN LA app. Michelob Ultra, 2.6 carbs, 95 calories. Michelob Ultra, superior light beer. Please enjoy responsibly. So, Andy, what you were just describing, I think, can be described in one single word that Laker fans should be very, very excited about. I'll tell you what it is coming up next. Andy's in for DeMarco at 710 ESPN.
And you'll never forget the day you heard the Buss family is selling the Los Angeles Lakers. ESPN Shams Charania is reporting that the buyer is Mark Walter, the CEO of TWG Global, and the price is $10 billion. We're talking about it on your home of the Lakers, 710 ESPN, and the all-new ESPN LA app.
Breaking news on 710 ESPN is powered by Valvoline Instant Oil Change, home of the 15-minute drive-through oil change. Visit SoCalOilChange.com for coupons and locations.
This is the Doctor in the Dugout with Dr. Alan Byer, presented by Hoag Orthopedic Institute.
I'm often asked about people who suffer their first back injury, think they've pulled a muscle in their back, and they don't stretch enough as far as their back is concerned. So when do you seek care from a doctor when you've sustained a back injury? At Hoag Orthopedic Institute, we like to tell people that the most important thing is to watch and see if that back pain is radiating down your leg, causing any numbness, causing any kidney weakness or any bowel or bladder dysfunction. These are surgical problems usually and require a more urgent visit to the emergency room rather than waiting to see the doctor. If none of these signs are present, it's safe to wait it out, rest for a few days, and seek medical care from your doctor within a week or so. Hope that helps. Keep stretching your back. If that doesn't get better in a week or 10 days, that's when it's time to seek the orthopedic specialist. Hope this keeps you on the field, and keep listening. We'll be back soon.
Keep listening for more on the road to recovery right here on 710 ESPN.
Coverage of the 2025 NBA Finals on ESPN LA is brought to you by Chumba Casino, your favorite online social casino. Play anytime, anywhere for free for your chance to redeem some serious prizes. Head to ChumbaCasino.com and let's Chumba. Only available in permitted states. No purchase necessary. VGW Group. Void where prohibited by law. 21 plus. Terms and conditions apply.
All right, listen up. Whether you're out for a walk, hitting the gym, or just tackling your day, in this LA heat, chafing is no joke. Take my word for it. That's why you need Highlands Chafing Relief. This stuff is a game changer. Goes on like a cream, dries like a powder, and stays put even through sweat and water. No greasy mess, just all-day protection. If you've already got some chafing, Highlands soothes it fast with aloe, shea butter, and tea tree oil. Don't let chafing slow you down. Grab Highlands Chafing Relief at Walmart or Target right now.
Ready for a delicious escape? The new Islands Restaurant's $10 protein bowls are your ticket. Packed with over 40 grams of protein and stacked with fresh ingredients. They're only here for a limited time, so enjoy one today. Visit islandsrestaurants.com.
4th of July savings start now at Carden Alleyway Hyundai. Lease a brand new Hyundai Elantra SCL Sport for just $219 a month for 36 months with only $34.99 due at signing. Drive with confidence backed by America's best warranty, 10 years or 100,000 miles, and Hyundai's exclusive owner assurance program. Visit us off the 91 freeway or schedule your test drive now at CardenAlleyWayHyundai.com. With SU94 4151, $34.99 due at signing plus tax. License $85 doc fee and registration. No security deposit. 10,000 miles per year. Offer expires 7/7/2025.
For ESPN LA contest rules, go to ESPNLA.com and click the contest button.
Hey Rams fans, it's your quarterback Matthew Stafford here. Join me for Walk United LA at the Rose Bowl Stadium on July 20th. Participants can walk or run to support fire recovery efforts and our most vulnerable LA communities. Learn more at walkunitedla.org. See you there.
Purple Wave Auction remains the trusted leader in online equipment auctions. What makes the difference is you. You are part of our growing global community that continues to trust Purple Wave with the equipment that builds and feeds America. This trust placed in us by our community, from construction to ag producers and fleet drivers, brings great equipment opportunities to their next owners. Join the Purple Wave community today. PurpleWave.com.
Empower. Tim collects bobbleheads. A lot of bobbleheads. Baseball bobbleheads, race car bobbleheads, little chihuahua bobbleheads. He's got an entire room strictly for bobbleheads. Does he need them? No. Is his wife mad about it? A little. But Tim works with Empower, and he got good at money, so he can be a little bad. Ooh, horse bobblehead. Classy, Tim. Empower. Invest well, live a little. Start today at empower.com.
And yes, welcome to the Travis and DeMarco Show. Now mornings, 9 a.m. to noon on 710 ESPN, your destination for LA sports. Let's get back to the fellas. The Travis and DeMarco Show continues right now.
(877-710 ESPN) if you want to get in and talk about the Lakers sale to Dodger owner Mark Walter. You can do that. 877-710-3776. And we are reacting to one of the biggest moments in franchise history. We have your dose of what's next for the Lakers, thanks to Pro Baller, the official energy drink of the Los Angeles Lakers. And once the shock and the excitement of the announcement yesterday was there, I got very excited again, because I think this boils down to one word that Mark Walter has demonstrated that he has, that the Lakers have struggled with over the last several seasons. And that's vision. That there's a vision for the Dodgers that Mark Walter has mapped out, that he has empowered his most important lieutenants to go execute. And I'm talking about Andrew Friedman. You're talking about Stan Kasten. You're talking about, quite frankly, Dave Roberts, like the right on down the food chain of all of these guys saying, we want to become the franchise in Major League Baseball. We want to be an international powerhouse. We want to make sure that we do not spare an expense. We do not, and I'm not just talking about payroll. I'm talking about when it comes to training staff, when it comes to analytics, when it comes to scouting, that the Dodgers scouting department is as good or better than every single one in the league. And they are able to have reclamation projects like Justin Turner and Chris Taylor and many, many others that everybody had opportunities to, that they were able to put a finger on and say that. I'll go back a year ago when Andrew Friedman acquired Tommy Edman from the St. Louis Cardinals, and the story gets told that Andrew Friedman had identified Tommy Edman years ago. I need that guy. That guy is the sort of guy that we need. He's a sort of guy that can make us a championship level team. And he had a vision of what he wanted, and it took a little longer to execute the vision than maybe he would have liked. He wanted to get him sooner, but ultimately I need that guy. Justin Turner can become an everyday player for us. Chris Taylor can become this. There's vision there that's not just, I have this checkbook that can solve every problem. I can buy Ohtani when it's time to buy Ohtani, but I can find Max Muncy on the scrap heap and turn him into an all-star caliber. That's vision. That's not just having a lot of money. That's having a lot of vision. That is not what the Lakers have had for a while. What the Lakers have had is competing visions. They have had, let's go young. No, let's go start. This coach isn't working. They fired 5 coaches in the last 10 years or something like that. The Dodgers, Dave Roberts has been here for a decade. Don Mattingly was the guy before. They've only had 2 guys. They only had Ned Coletti and Andrew Friedman. They only had 2 guys over the course of more than 10 years. That it is consistency and it is vision, and the Lakers have lacked both of those things over a similar time frame, and that's what's so exciting. He's going to come in, he's going to look around, and he's going to evaluate. And he's going to say, okay, I think that's a person worthy of keeping around. They're going to stay around. He's going to come in and look around and say, I don't know if that's going to work here, and maybe make a change. He's going to go find the smartest people. He's going to try to make them come and work in the best organization. This is incredibly exciting. You don't have to have known the owner for a long time or have access to the owner for a long time to do these things. It's going to be far more modern while respecting the ancient tradition. This is vision, and it's been nowhere.
It's vision, but it's also infrastructure.
Yes.
Forget who's going to, it matters, but forget just the idea of who's going to get fired, like who will not be around long for this ride. Let's just say.
But it won't be like firing like a purge. Well, there's going to be an evaluation period.
There is no purge. There's not enough people and this matters. What I'm about to get into matters. There are not enough people working in the organization to even qualify as a purge.
Yeah.
But let's just say, for the sake of argument, all of the people that have been identified who matter in the power structure of the Lakers, Rob Pelinka, Kurt Rambis, Linda Rambis, Tim Harris, Joey and Jesse Buss. Let's just say all of those people, for the sake of argument, all stay on. Like Mark Walter, first of all, he's been a 27% shareholder with this organization before now becoming the principal owner. So I am willing to bet he's been pretty familiar with what's been going on. He's been forming opinions for a while because he's known for a while, I'm going to have the right of first refusal to buy this organization. So I imagine he's been keeping tabs anyway. But let's just say he decides, I like all these people.
Yeah.
He's going to give them more infrastructure because you were talking about how Andrew Friedman had identified Tommy Edman as somebody that he liked. Like Andrew Friedman, I'm sure, has vision. But Andrew Friedman, respectfully, cannot scout the entire league.
Not.
He needs people around him to help do these evaluations. The front office for the Lakers, scouting department, analytics, all of that, it's too small. So they're going to bring in more people to help, say, Rob Pelinka. If he ends up staying with the organization another 10 years, Rob Pelinka is going to have more people around him to help him.
Mm-hmm.
And it's important for Rob that he is willing to accept that help and be secure about it, because I can say this. I think the standard for Rob's job, in order to keep it, is going to be higher. That bar now is going to be...
You can't blow out a new coach every 2 years. That's not going to do the trick.
Well, look, to be fair to Rob, That doesn't happen unless Jeannie says yes.
Okay, but usually we fire one guy. Okay, you fire. It's like say, hey, you're the guy picking the guys. Why are we never getting the right guy?
Sure. But I'm just saying it's copacetic.
Yeah,
Rob
I
can
agree.
only do the big decisions that Jeannie says yes to. But like Rob is going to have to be willing to work with more people if they're not necessarily at his direct level or even higher, like they're high enough that their voices matter. If Rob is not willing to work in that type of environment, I am willing to strongly bet he will not be long for this ride.
I think you're right. And I think we can, you're going to get bored of me saying this over and over again, but I'm going to go back to the Dodgers because I think that there are examples of almost everything we're going to see at the Lakers that have previously happened with the Dodgers, that when Mark Walter came in and bought the team, Ned Colletti was the general manager and Don Mattingly was the manager. He didn't come in and just boom, boom, these guys are gone. Ned Colletti was there for 3 more years. And they went to the playoffs. They didn't advance in the playoffs, but they were a good team.
Ned Colletti was good enough to deserve the look.
Absolutely. And so they watched and they decided, hey, okay, we're going to make a change. And it's not like they blew him out unceremoniously, but it was one of these moments where they went around and said, who is the next guy that's really good at this, that has vision, that has a plan, that has executed his plan and shown that there's, proof of concept? Andrew Friedman has built a team that on a shoestring budget in a market that has no history, that has very little resources like you're talking about, very little infrastructure relative to some of these other places. What if we gave that guy every tool that he could possibly need? What if we gave him the support that he needed? And we've seen what's happened. Same kind of situation with Don Mattingly, where he went out a year after that and they found a manager that did all of these things. And then what did they do after that? They let him cook. They let them go in there and do their things. And even when it got bumpy occasionally, and to my frustration, it was like, nope, we're going to keep doing this. We're going to keep doing it. It's going to work. We have an idea of what this is. He trusted Andrew Friedman when Andrew Friedman would say something along like, well, this is baseball. Sometimes it doesn't work out. They trusted Dave Roberts. They trusted in the vision and let it go. It's not like, hey, we want to go north. No, we're going to go east. No, never mind, west. No, south. No, damn, I'll go north again. And so we're going over there. We're going to course correct slightly, but we're going to get over there. And that's exactly what they've done with the Dodgers, and that's exactly what the Lakers have not done.
And there is one person specifically that would fit exactly this bill, and that's Sam Presti. So you let Pelinka have a couple years, see if he can fit this Mark Walters mold, or you go after the most valuable GM in the NBA, the smartest, the most inventive. I think Sam Presti fits this bill. Again, how much would he cost? Could he do it? Could the Lakers do it? Would be interesting.
Sam Presti is, in my opinion, hands down the best exec in the entire NBA, and it's not even close. I think what would be interesting if they went after Presti is he's built something that's, I think, going to be pretty sustainable in OKC.
Appears to be.
And if I had to guess, there's a personal investment with it because it is something that he truly built. It doesn't mean that he would necessarily never leave, but I am guessing that even with the idea of working for the Lakers and more money, and it's purely a guess, he would not immediately jump towards it, but maybe in 5 years.
Yeah, and that's it. Maybe you let some of the fruit ripen on the tree in OKC to see what happens, but the call will be made. And maybe not specifically to Sam Presti, but maybe not him, but whoever the next Sam Presti is, whoever they identify as the person
somebody
that can build
in
this thing.
OKC's shop. Because if you have worked a long time with Sam Presti, I'm going to go out on a limb and predict you're not stupid.
Right. And you understand how to build.
Come up with all this stuff himself.
Of course not. And you have guys that come in and out of your life and they take some of the tenets that you learn here and create some of their own thing. But the idea that it will get done, whether it's with him or with someone like him, but the calls will be made, the offers will be extended.
And they'll be outside of the Lakers' backyard. They will be outside of the Lakers' purview. There has been way too much of Jeannie hiring people that she has a personal relationship with. And it's felt like, to be honest, in a lot of cases, that personal relationship has meant more than the professional expertise.
It's limited the pool.
Right.
It's limited the pool.
You are self-limiting your own options as the Lakers, which is frankly insane.
There is a perfect example of this, of what you just described, that went on for a long time and the place was going nowhere, and then they finally stopped doing it and it took off. Tell you what it is coming up next, plus your phone calls, 877-710-ESPN. The Lakers have Mark Walter as their new owner. Let's go. 710 ESPN.
And you'll never forget the day you heard the Buss family is selling the Los Angeles Lakers. ESPN Shams Charania is reporting that the buyer is Mark Walter, the CEO of TWG Global, and the price is $10 billion. We're talking about it on your home of the Lakers, 710 ESPN, and the all-new ESPN LA app.
Breaking news on 710 ESPN is powered by Valvoline Instant Oil Change, home of the 15-minute drive-through oil change. Visit SoCalOilChange.com for coupons and locations.
Hey guys, it's Sedano. If you're ready to upgrade your driving experience, you gotta go and check out what's happening at Cadillac and their incredible new lineup of state-of-the-art EVs, sedans, and SUVs. And hey, look, there's no better place to experience the luxury of Cadillac than at Cadillac of Beverly Hills. Check out Cadillac of Beverly Hills and their beautiful showroom at 8767 Wilshire Boulevard in Beverly Hills. And check them out on the web at CadillacBeverlyHills.com.
Hey, it's Travis. Every legend has a story, and those stories are kept at Legends Attic in Claremont. Legends Attic is the premier sports memorabilia gallery and store that offers a unique blend of rare and iconic collectibles. It's a community for sports fans and collectors, so go check it out for yourself. Legends Attic, 619 West Foothill Boulevard in the city of Claremont. Visit legendsattic.com and be sure to follow Legends Attic on all social media platforms so you can stay connected to know about their upcoming signings and special events with Hall of Famers and pro players.
Hey guys, it's Sedano. Flashy discounts, gimmicky sales? Don't fall for it. At Hernandez Wholesale Flooring, we give you honest, wholesale pricing all year long. No bogus markups, no tricks, just the best floors at the best prices. Call 866-62-FLOOR. No sale beats wholesale. Hernandez Wholesale Flooring, check them out at hernandezwholesaleflooring.net or call them at 866-62-FLOOR.
For the best prices on...
Welcome to Big Tobacco's Fantasyland, the industry's idea of a healthier tomorrow, where vapes are deemed safer. Never mind, they can contain cancer-causing arsenic and lead. And they're anti-aging, because you're more likely to die younger from a stroke. In Big Tobacco's Fantasyland, the deadliest industry can rebrand itself as your friend.
Deserve. Joe and his team understand the emotional and financial toll that an injury can take on you and your life. Call 213-747-2000 or visit normandlegal.com. The law offices of Joseph S. Normand have helped thousands of people like you recover millions of dollars in settlements and verdicts. Visit normandlegal.com or call 213-747-2000. Your recovery is their priority.
Your home run picks or riding with your favorite golfers this summer, ESPN is for all the action. Go from checking stats on your favorite teams and players to placing bets in just a few taps. Plus, new customers can get $100 in bonus bets when you make your first $10 wager. Download ESPN. Sign up with promo code USL to get started today. Must be 21 plus. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. Terms and conditions apply. See app for details. Offer not available in New York.
Adam Schefter here for Vivid Seats, your ultimate destination for all your sports and concert needs this summer. With a game-changing rewards program and an unbeatable selection of tickets, they make it easy for every fan to watch their favorite teams and players in action. Catch every home run and thrilling comeback in person from your favorite seat. Plus, every ticket is backed by a 100% buyer guarantee, giving you peace of mind with every purchase. Visit VividSeats.com or download the app today. Vivid Seats, the official ticketing partner of ESPN.
This is the Travis and DeMarco Show.
Now weekdays 9 a.m. to noon on LA's mega sports station.
710 ESPN.
Do you keep a good idea folder, Andy?
I don't have a formal folder, but I often send emails to myself.
Yeah, okay, that's a good way to do it. I tell Emily to put this in my good idea folder, and then she does.
So Emily is your good idea folder.
Well, she's an organized professional producer, so she's ready to go.
I've got a lot of random stuff written down
Yeah.
that even I sometimes don't remember what this was about, but it's there.
Tomorrow we will talk about Adam Schefter, PGA Tour Between the Ropes reporter.
Interesting.
Awesome gig. Anyway, maybe a little preview of a potential, at least, draft topic for tomorrow that I have an idea for. Back to the Lakers. The Buss family is selling the team for $10 billion to Dodger owner Mark Walter. Ben Horny from Front Office Sports. He covers acquisitions and things in the sports world. He's going to join us coming up in about a half an hour or so. So stick around for that. We'll kind of get into the nuts and bolts of the transaction itself. But you were talking, Andy, a second ago about how one of the, I think, things that prevented the Lakers from operating in a more traditional sense, the way that some other teams did, is their pool of potential candidates that they were looking at to coach the team, be an executive in the team, et cetera, et cetera. It seemed like they needed to have a connection to the Lakers in some capacity previously. That Jeannie and her team needed to know this person or have a relationship with this person, a familiarity with this person.
We're close to LeBron in recent years.
That too, that would come in and allow them to fit into the Laker culture. And I understand that. We all like to have people that are familiar to us. Okay, fine. Put a pin in that. There's another very prestigious, accomplished sports entity that operated the same way for a very long time and tried to do what the Lakers were doing, and that is we need somebody connected to the past. And it didn't work very well. I'm talking about the University of Alabama football team. That Alabama football is a blue blood football program, and Bear Bryant was kind of the architect of that from the beginning of his tenure at Alabama. And after Bryant retired, the operating principle inside the Alabama football program was we need to find somebody that either coached under the Bear or played for the Bear that understands what Bear Bryant and Alabama football is all about. Okay, cool. What happened? Not much. It didn't really work all that well. And they went through a whole bunch of people that were connected. They played for them. They did this. They did that. And to mixed success, far more non-success than high-level success. And then finally somebody said, hey, this doesn't make a whole lot of sense. Who's the best guy for the job? And they hired Nick Saban. What happened? I think we know what happened. Nick Saban comes in and turns Alabama football into Alabama football again. Nick Saban was not an Alabama football player. Nick Saban was the guy that was the best man for the job, and he came in and he understood the tradition of Alabama football. He respected the tradition of Alabama football, and then all of a sudden built it into a monster all over again. That's what could happen here. I understand it. I respect it. I enjoy it. I celebrate it. But let's find the best people for the job.
Here's the thing. The understanding and the respecting of the Lakers' history, that's the easy part.
Sure.
Because the understanding it, the knowing it, I mean, go to Wikipedia. Watch one of a zillion documentaries that have been there about the Lakers. It is an incredible history. And as somebody who's a big-time Laker fan IRL, I love learning about the Lakers. I've read several books about the Lakers. I geek out on this stuff, but that's the easy part. And the respecting it, I would like to think that anybody that would get involved with the organization would respect it. The hard part is, what do you do with it?
Mm-hmm.
The hard part is, how do you carry it further? And I remember a very specific moment where I was worried about the future of the organization. It was when Jeannie ultimately decided to fire Jim Buss, fire Mitch Kupchak, and take the organization in, at least I thought at the time, a very different direction. And she ends up hiring Magic and Rob Pelinka to essentially run things. And this was at a time where Magic had never done this job before. Rob Pelinka had never done this job before. Luke Walton was probably in his first, second year at most coaching, had never done it before. Jeannie herself was inexperienced as the ultimate shot caller with the organization. You have a lot of inexperience all being there at the same time, but they all have one thing in common, that relationship with Jeannie. And that was a point where I'm like, okay, this is off to a bad start in terms of Jeannie finally being in a place where she can implement anything that she wants. Like, she could poach whoever she wants, she could pursue whoever she wants, and she's looking for what is most familiar to her. And then if you look around, like, the top voices in this organization, like, in a vacuum, all of them could be justified for where they are. Like, Linda Rambis, I know she's known to a lot of people as Jeannie Buss's best friend. Linda Rambis has been with this organization forever. She was a Dr. Buss hire. She was not a Jeannie Buss hire. Jeannie didn't bring in one of her friends. They became friends through work. She's been around forever. She's a smart person. She knows things. Kurt Rambis is an NBA lifer. Like, in any other context, Kurt Rambis being a part of your front office would not be weird at all. Rob Pelinka would not be the first agent turned general manager or basketball ops guy. Like, that's not unusual. Bringing in a guy like Magic, it's not who I would have hired to do the job, but in and of itself, like, okay, he's Magic frickin' Johnson. Like, he knows a thing or two about basketball, like the game. All of those things, you know, Tim Harris, I've never heard anything other than he's very good at his job. But all of these people have been with the organization forever. Most of them have never worked for any organization other than the Lakers. And even Jesse and Joey Buss, who I was raving about earlier, they're really good at what they do. I think Mark Walter would be smart to find a role for them if they want it moving forward. I don't know how things change for them, but Joey and Jesse are really good. But when all of them have never worked essentially anywhere but this one place, you are missing out on so much experience. You're missing out on intel. You're missing out on different perspectives that are so valuable.
That's it, Andy. And I'm not even going to put anybody specifically in this box, but I'm going to ask this more globally. What are the chances that all the people that are the best person for the job all knew her beforehand? Very low.
Yeah.
Right? That if I'm running something that where I literally, and the Lakers I think qualify for this, they are such a prestigious entity that they could hire the best of the best, and people will want to come to work in this city for that team under this umbrella, and you could have your pick of the very best people. They're all your friends. They're all people that you've known your entire life. The odds of them all being that person are very low. So let's figure out which ones might be, which ones might not be, find other roles for them potentially, find, new people for the roles, create additional roles with new blood. I was going to say, even if you think Rob Pelinka is the best person for this job, he does not have enough around him. Yeah. He can't do everything that is needed of him with that small of a shop. Honestly, it's impossible. And that's if you think Rob Pelinka was the best possible person. Let's try a quick phone call here. Let's go to Van Nuys and David. David, you're on with Trav and Andy. What's up, David?
Hey, guys. Good morning. I wanted to talk about the sell of the team, and I had a question for both of you guys. As a Laker fan, yesterday was just amazing. I think this is great for the Lakers organization, for the city. I mean, who else better did we want other than Mark Walter? Has the money, could spend it. The league's kings are truly going to be back. It may not be soon, but a couple of years down the road, this team is going to be completely different compared to being ran by a brother and sister, a family, tight-knit circle, which we weren't going anywhere. With that being said, yes, I'm super excited, but I also wanted to see your opinions as far as, was this an actual amazing time to sell the team with this offseason coming? Can we actually see anything happening this offseason? And I'll listen to the answer on the radio.
Yep. Thanks, David. Appreciate that. 877-710-ESPN if you want to get in with your own thoughts on the deal. And what he was talking about, what David talked about, we can talk about the timing of it all, and we'll get into that coming up in just a little bit. And we'll talk with Ben Horny about that as well, why now may have been the right time or maybe not. We'll get his thoughts on that. You can hear the excitement in David's voice. I hear the excitement in your voice. I know how excited that I am. I know that, reading columns and reading other people report on this, you could feel the excitement coming through. Is this, and I guess the answer is probably both, but maybe put a percentage on one or the other. Is this a Mark Walter bought the Lakers, or is this the Lakers have a new owner? That the new owner is that the old owner needed to go. We needed fresh blood. So whoever's coming in would create a level of excitement. Or is this the perfect person just slid into this role?
I was going to say it's about, I'm going to say about 75-25. It's 75-25. Mark Walter is specifically the owner.
Yeah.
The 25% is the Lakers needed ownership with more money regardless.
Yeah.
Like, Matt Ishbia with the Suns, he's a lunatic. That guy is a freaking loon.
He appears to be impulsive.
Yes. I think thus far his track record as owner of the Suns is terrible. He is, if I were a Suns fan, I would, it takes a lot to want the old guy back.
Yeah, especially that old guy.
Right, that old guy who, I want to make it clear.
Robert Sarver you're talking about.
Yes, Robert Sarver. I want to make it clear. Matt Ishbia seems like he's a far better person so far than Robert Sarver, based on what we know. He's a much better person.
Yeah.
But Matt Ishbia is a freaking loon in the way that he's run the Suns. But he's stupid rich. The Lakers needed somebody that was stupid rich because one of the obstacles that they have been dealing with, even if you think Jeannie Buss is as great of a shot caller as you could possibly want,
I don't think anybody thinks that.
Well, but let's just say for the sake of argument,
I understand your point. I was like holding in a sneeze. I couldn't hold it in.
Right. I agree. But even if you didn't think that, they do not have the liquidity to keep up with the rest of the league. Like, you cannot be, in some respects, billionaires on paper.
Yeah.
In this type of environment.
We need some cash.
Right. They needed cash. So like somebody like, again, an Ishbia who's a loon, he could be an upgrade just in the sense that, I mean, the guy will clearly spend. He does it like a drunken insane sailor, but he'll do it. But Mark Walter's the 75%. You've got the right guy with the stupid money.
All right, more of your calls coming up, 877-710-ESPN. And Jeannie's going to stay on, that she's going to run the team for a while. It's a little nebulous as to what it is, but
what run the team means.
Exactly. For how long and what that role is exactly, we'll kind of kick that around. It's coming up next. Andy's in for DeMarco on 710 ESPN.
And you'll never forget the day you heard the Buss family is selling the Los Angeles Lakers. ESPN Sham Charania is reporting that the buyer is Mark Walter, the CEO of TWG Global, and the price is $10 billion. We're talking about it on your home of the Lakers, 710 ESPN, and the all-new ESPN LA app.
Breaking news on 710 ESPN is powered by Valvoline Instant Oil Change, home of the 15-minute drive-through oil change. Visit SoCalOilChange.com for coupons and locations.
Hey guys, it's Sedano. Los Angeles International Airport's People Mover trains begin rolling early next year as part of LAX's ongoing investments to transform and improve your travel journey. The People Mover trains will quickly move guests between their terminals and our new consolidated rental car center, metro trains and buses, economy parking, and Kiss and Fly lot. The trains will make it simple and fast to get to your LAX destination in 10 minutes or less, and trains depart every 2 minutes beginning in early 2026. Learn more at lawa.org/ESPN.
When pain keeps you from doing what you love, Hoag Orthopedic Institute gets you back to you. We are ranked number 18 in the nation and number 1 in Orange County for orthopedic and spine care by U.S. News & World Report. From the surf to the green, Our world-class doctors are there, which is why more Californians choose Hoag Orthopedic Institute for orthopedic and spine care more than any other hospital. At Hoag Orthopedic Institute, there is no one better at getting you back to you. Proudly founded by premier physicians in partnership with Hoag. Learn more at HoagOrthopedicInstitute.com.
Prescriptions require an online consultation with a healthcare provider who will determine if appropriate. Restrictions apply. See website for details and important safety information. Price varies based on product and subscription plan.
Hey guys, let's talk ED because millions of men experience it, but not everyone can access or afford treatments like Viagra. Well, Hims can help. Through Hims.com, you can get a full range of treatment options for ED, including daily or as-needed meds through a 100% online process. It all starts with an online intake form. Get started at hims.com/joy, and from there, a medical provider licensed in your state will determine if ED treatment is right for you. If prescribed, your medication is shipped to you for free. Find the ED treatment that fits your needs with options up to 95% less than the brand names. Millions of men experience ED, but Hims can help. To start your free online visit and save up to 95%, go to hims.com/joy. That's hims.com/joy for your free online visit. HIMS.com/JOY.
And yes, welcome to the Travis and DeMarco Show. Now mornings, 9 a.m. to noon on 710 ESPN. Your destination for LA sports. Let's get back to the fellas. The Travis and DeMarco Show continues right now.
Hey, feeling good. Like I
checked in with DeMarco a little bit yesterday. He's on the mend. He should be back sooner than later. But he didn't sound like DeMarco is this incredibly positive up guy. And he's not feeling his best.
He's also somebody that, quite frankly, likes to be at work.
Oh yeah.
So if he's not here, DeMarco's sick.
He will be back Monday. I'm assuming. So he'll be here before too long. Andy is in for DeMarco. Radio's Clinton Yates here as well. And
working on Juneteenth.
You brought. Yeah. How about that?
Wow.
Right.
This really is big news.
It's big news.
It's a big day. I asked Andy this when the news broke yesterday. First thing that went through your head.
Ding dong, the witch is dead. And I say that with some level of facetiousness, but I think you guys know, and Andy and I have talked about this a lot, the number one fight I would get into with Lakers fans was saying, as an outsider, I hope you guys understand that everybody else sees this franchise success and, you know, everything aside, as a mom and pop operation.
Sure.
Like, nobody looks at this as a modern run team. And if anything's ever going to go wrong, it's going to be because of that. And a lot of Lakers fans take a lot of offense to that because they would say, well, what about the lore? What about this? What about that? Which is understandable. But as somebody who's looking at this from a journalistic standpoint, it was always, this isn't sustainable. This is not going to get you to the top and keep you there. So this move, and I'm using Ding Dong the Witch is Dead kind of facetiously. I don't actually think Bus is a bad person, Genie, on any level. But it was time. It was time to go from the old Volvo with the stick shift to maybe getting into, I don't know, the electric car world where everybody else is, because you can actually learn how to get down the road.
It's vision. It's new. It's the perfect person that respects what you're talking about, tradition and legacy and history, while at the same time modernizing the way that you go about using those things to create the next level of history.
If we want to take the both car and vision analogy further, it's finding your way with GPS as opposed to using a Thomas guide.
Right. Right. That's a good way to put it, is that there's a vector, there's a directive. And I think it's in no small matter either that it's the money is one thing. The skill set and ability to find smart people and keep smart people is another. You talked all the time about how if the Ramby are part of the brain trust, not only are you limited to the decisions they can make, you are limited to what they can bring around them, because people don't want to work for people like that necessarily. You want to work for the smartest people possible. If you're a high talent, this changes that equation drastically for the franchise.
They went and found, if not the smartest, one of the smartest people in baseball, brought him in and said, go do your thing.
Correct.
And go hire the people that you need. What do you need? Okay, we'll do that. You need a second plane to fly around the country? Great. Here's a second plane. What else do you need? Hey, we can scout better. We can develop better. And when it comes time to scratch that monster check, we can do that too. Like we're going to be able to do all of these things, but it isn't just...
It's not
one
just
of
throwing
those
money
things.
at it.
It's throwing money at it the correct way. It's throwing money at the smartest people in the room that have a track record.
It's knowing why you're throwing money at it.
Yes.
Like you can just throw money at things. Again, we talked about Matt Ishmael with the Sun. Artie Moreno
is a perfect example.
Right. Just throwing money at stuff is not going to solve your problems. It's understanding why you're throwing money at it, how you're throwing money at, and who you're throwing the money at.
Yeah.
It's really quite a combination, too, on a larger level. To think that the Dodgers and the Lakers are now in concert as brands in the same place. I mean, this is the final stage of the Death Star coming together. A planet's getting blown up.
There's always been...
Somebody's going to be in the target of the dark side here, and it's going to get blown to smithereens.
There's always been a lot of synergy anyway. Like, these brands, in a lot of ways, have been associated with each other. Like, I know Kobe has had bobbleheads and threw out a first pitch. I think Anthony Davis threw out a first pitch. LeBron has had something like that before. They're both part of the Spectrum Sportsnet family. Like, there's been a lot of synergy anyway. So, and Mark Walter, while being the top owner with the Dodgers, had a 27% stake with the Lakers anyway.
Yeah.
You might as well just go here.
It's good business. I mean, there's no real way to change that. And I kind of salute the Busses for timing as much as anything. LeBron's got, 10 days to make that decision on the player option?
It changes some things, or at least it changes the potential, at least. It changes the end game potentially. There are so many different things that are branches on the ownership tree that could be affected, and almost all of them to the better. Almost all of them are. It's clarifying because what I'll say it in my own words. You guys tell me. There was this assumption, and I think rightfully so, that the Lakers were never going to have a hard conversation with a popular older player, which was, hey, what are we doing here exactly? And what is your plan? Because we have an idea what we want to do. What do you want to do? There was this understanding. You can stay as long as we want because that's how we do it here. Not anymore.
No.
That's not how they do it over there. I mean, Justin Turner's not on the Dodgers.
No, I mean, look, they're not going to
Taylor Gonzo.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying? I agree.
And LeBron is more than Justin Turner and Chris Taylor.
But he's not Clayton Kershaw either.
Well,
no.
Here's the thing.
That's a good comp.
Yeah, exactly. And this is something that you want to treat somebody of LeBron's stature with the respect that he deserves, if for no other reason than you want to make sure that other stars around the league are aware of that. But what you can't do, LeBron is not at a place with this organization, particularly when it comes to Laker fans' relationship with him.
No.
He's not Kobe.
No.
He's not Magic.
No.
He's not Jerry West. And also the timing of this, when you've got Luka, presumably at some point locked up, a generational superstar in his prime, you need to have the most flexibility and optionality to build around him. And somebody, LeBron's still playing at a high level, but somebody of LeBron's age that you know the end game is coming, but you don't know when, essentially being part of an open-ended contract.
That's
not viable for building
we can
towards
have
the future.
a real conversation where I'm not worried about hurting your feelings
always my concern,
because you might be.
we offended LeBron.
It's if he gets offended and leaves. Okay,
so be it.
I think,
So be it.
Well,
okay.
Here's the thing. I am confident that Mark Walter, at the very least, will understand the right way to offend LeBron, if you want to put it that way, because you're going to have to deal with Clutch. Clutch is not going away.
It's not
the minute
a nuke the bridge.
No, right.
It's we got to have a hard conversation today.
Exactly.
Let's find a way for this to work for everybody. And if we can't, let's figure out a way to move on from each other.
Like Rich Paul represents, contrary to a lot of perception, more than just LeBron. You're going to want to sign Rich Paul clients down the line. So it's not about showing LeBron the door in a way that is about showing who's boss.
Yeah.
There are practical things that need to be discussed. Let's discuss them.
All right, so a big question has been the why now, how much, how does it go down? We're going to check in with Ben Horny from Front Office Sports. He's an expert in all of this, so he will check in with us. Coming up next, DeMarco is out, Andy is in, Yates is taping bats on 710 ESPN.
LA's mega sports station.
710 ESPN.
30 years ago, Wu-Tang Clan changed hip-hop forever. Now, it's time for the final chamber. Live in Los Angeles, Wu-Tang Clan, together, live on stage, the beginning of their final tour. Live this Sunday at Crypto.com Arena with Run the Jewels. Get tickets now at WuTangClan.com. Wu-Tang Forever, the final chamber. Produced by AEG Presents.
Do you know a high school senior who's a true all-star on the field, in the classroom, and in the community? ESPN LA, along with Rotolo Chevrolet and Capozio Buick GMC, is proud to present the All-Star Student Program. We're honoring 5 incredible seniors with a $500 scholarship and an exclusive VIP experience at ESPN LA's All-Star Friday Night. Nominate your standout student today at ESPNLA.com. ESPN LA All-Star Student, brought to you by Rotolo Chevrolet, the #1 Chevy dealer in the West region once again. Come see what all the fun is about.
Collectors, Front Row Card Show is back at the Pasadena Convention Center on June 21st and 22nd. Biggest show ever! Baseball, football, basketball, and hockey cards, plus Pokemon, Marvel, Star Wars, and comic books. CGC and JSA will be there. So bring your cards, comics, and autographs to sell, trade, or get them graded. More than 500 tables, thousands of dollars in free prizes. Don't miss it! Front Row Card Show, Pasadena Convention Center, Saturday and Sunday, June 21st and 22nd, 11 to 5. For more info, go to FrontRowCardShow.com. That's FrontRowCardShow.com.
Hey, it's Travis. Every legend has a story, and those stories are kept at Legends Attic in Claremont. Legends Attic is the premier sports memorabilia gallery and store that offers a unique blend of rare and iconic collectibles. It's a community for sports fans and collectors, so go check it out for yourself. Legends Attic, 619 West Foothill Boulevard in the city of Claremont. Visit legendsattic.com and be sure to follow Legends Attic on all social media platforms so you can stay connected to know about their upcoming signings and special events with Hall of Famers and pro players.
Hi, it's LeBron. The Lakers play here.
710 ESPN.
KSPN, Los Angeles.
A Good Karma Brands radio station.
This is the Travis and DeMarco Show.
Now weekdays 9 a.m. to noon on LA's mega sports station.
710 ESPN.
All right, obviously, big news. The Lakers got sold yesterday to Dodger owner Mark Walter. Laker fans. So the next one I run into that isn't excited about this will make one. It's an incredibly exciting time. And one of the big questions it just seemed to come out of left field that all of a sudden the Lakers were sold to Mark Walter yesterday, and a lot of people caught by surprise. Ben Horny covers this sort of end of the sports universe for Front Office Sports. He is a deals reporter. He got a newsletter at Front Office Sports called Asset Class, which covers sports finance, investment, and transaction activity. Ben is joining us right now. Ben, thanks for coming on.
Hey, Travis and Andy, thank you so much for having me. Yeah, and thanks for that beautiful intro.
You got it, Ben. So tell me this. Why now, do you think? Because we've seen some of, the Celtics were sold recently, the Lakers yesterday, the Mark Cuban Mavericks not that long ago. A lot of activity in the NBA right now. Why do you think we're seeing so much activity in that sport particularly?
So you're absolutely right. There's a ton of activity. And one thing that I will say is that the valuations of the NBA teams are through the roof, right? There's a lot of copycat follow-on type of thing that happens with these deals. So you have franchise owners seeing even the Charlotte Hornets were sold a few years ago for, I think, a $3 billion valuation. And all of a sudden, you're wondering, well, how much money can I get? And the model of ownership is really changing. It used to be the George Steinbrenner model where you hold the team until you die, you give the team to your kids. There's a lot of tax implications with that. So the fact that people can get so much money for their teams right now, and they're seeing, the Celtics go for more than $6 billion. When the Lakers got this offer, you have to think, hey, our family and their family and future generations are set up forever.
Even with all that in mind, Ben, A, were you surprised by the timing in any way at all? And B, were you surprised by the valuation? Because it is huge.
So let me start with the valuation. There's a sticker shock aspect to the valuation, right? $10 billion seems so ridiculous. It's impossible to even wrap your mind around that, especially as just like, your average everyman, every woman who, certainly you don't have $1 billion. But once that shock wore off, what I'm hearing from sources in the industry is that this really isn't all that surprising. I mean, the Celtics just recently, a few months ago, were sold for more than $6 billion. If you had to pick a franchise that was going to go for more than that, it's the Lakers. And to your other question, the timing, the one thing that is really standing out to me that's kind of strange about the timing is that it was announced right here as we're trying to end the NBA Finals. I wonder why that happened, and I wonder how the NBA feels about it.
Ben Horny is joining us. He covers the business side of sports for Front Office Sports, and the $10 billion, the sticker shock of that, maybe not a surprise to people that cover this, and seeing the Tampa Bay Rays yesterday sold for just under $3 billion. But the Lakers are one of the crown jewels of American sports. There's the Dallas Cowboys, there's the New York Yankees, the Dodgers, I think, are another one of those teams. If any team in the Big Four here in the U.S. went on the block, is there anybody that fetches more than the Lakers got yesterday?
Well, so you named a few of them. It seems like, if Jerry Jones ever wanted to sell the Cowboys, the NFL, reigns supreme in this country. I could see them going for more. I could see the Yankees going for more. Otherwise, it's slim pickings. And I think to your point about the Rays, something, a trend that has been happening is that people are saying, oh, every sports deal is breaking the record of the last, which has been true for a while. You had the Broncos sold for, I think it was $4.65 billion, and then the Commanders broke that record at $6.05 billion, and then you had the Celtics jumped that by a little bit, and now you have the Lakers. But it's really those premier, like you said, crown jewel franchises that are going to go for that. It's still a lot of money when you're the Rays and you're sold for a few $1 billion, but most teams are not going to eclipse the Lakers.
Do you get any sense in terms of what comes next, specifically for Jeannie Buss? Because there's been reports that she's going to be remaining on as governor of the team. It's part of the contract language. Ramona Shelburne from ESPN reported that she is going to be running the team for, I guess, the foreseeable future. Like, what that means in a setup like this where she's no longer the majority owner but would have a role?
That's a really interesting question, and it's one that I'm trying to dig into. We've seen this a few times in recent examples. The big example is Mark Cuban with the Mavericks. It was suggested when that deal was announced that he would stay on overseeing basketball operations. That obviously didn't happen. That might be part of why this Lakers sale happened, because the Lakers have Luka Dončić. They're set up to potentially, compete for a decade. Maybe that plays into Mark Walter's decision to try to buy the team. But and it also happened with the Celtics. Wick Grousbeck is supposedly staying on for a few years, and now Jeannie Buss. It really remains to be seen what's going to happen, how that's going to actually work. I don't have any specific knowledge of what happened with Cuban, but it does seem like that was kind of quashed and it wasn't allowed. With the Celtics, we still are not quite sure exactly what's going to happen with Wick Grousbeck. One point that I keep making is that the Lakers are the darlings of the NBA, and they always have been. So you could see the NBA kind of allowing this sort of thing. Maybe it's unofficial, maybe it's official, but it's a really interesting question, and it goes to the question of, like, how much is Mark Walter going to be the decision maker, or how much can he be the ultimate decision maker if you still have Jeannie Buss in the room? That seems like it, puts a little bit of pressure on you as the new owner.
Ben Horny covers sports finance, investment, and transaction activity for Front Office Sports, joining us here on 710 ESPN. And Ben, take me through this, because it seems like the NBA is ready for expansion. It feels like it's happening sooner than later. We've heard about Vegas. You've heard about Seattle. These seems to be teams. And the expansion fee for these teams is in the billions of dollars category. And unlike a lot of the other money that comes into the league, expansion fees are not shared with the players. It is exclusively distributed among the owners. Why not wait for expansion, collect the money, and then sell? Because am I missing a piece of the puzzle to not wait around for your extra, whatever it is, $700 million from the expansion fees, and you'd still get your $10 billion on top of that for selling the franchise itself?
It's a very good question. I mean, I don't have any specific knowledge of what led to this decision by the Buss family, but one thing that I will say is that when you get a $10 billion offer, I mean, you tell me, if someone offered you $10 billion for your house, but you thought maybe in a year down the line there was going to be a way for you to make a little more money off it, you'd probably take the $10 billion. So I think that it could be as simple as that. But to your point, you are correct. There's a lot of rumors, and Adam Silver has addressed it himself. I mean, the NBA clearly wants to expand. They even want to expand internationally. So you would think that there's going to be a lot of money coming in. But again, the $10 billion figure, I mean, it's really hard to say no.
We were talking earlier, Ben, about how the Buss family they were not able to keep up with the Joneses around the NBA in terms of just pure liquidity, the way things have shifted, and now who owns teams. Can Can you just give some perspective in terms of what it really takes to be able to aggressively keep up with other owners around the league in the NBA, like financially?
Yeah, well, another good question. You're seeing this shift in recent deals to groups that are buying the teams, right? So when the Celtics deal was announced, it's this guy that people prior to that deal hadn't really heard of, Bill Chisholm. And the idea was that he's buying the team. But then as time went on, there were questions about, wait, what does the ownership structure look like? Oh, now this person's going to contribute $1 billion. Oh, these people, this private equity firm's involved. That's happening more and more because, to your point, it is getting more and more expensive to run these teams, to pay for the roster, the luxury tax, the second apron. So there's two ideas at play here. There's number one, the reason that franchises, especially NBA franchises, are valued so highly is because there's a scarcity of assets. There's only so many teams. So if you get the chance to own a team, it's a huge deal. There's also a scarcity of buyers. There's not that many people that can write the check. The controlling owner under NBA rules needs to contribute 15% of the purchase price, if I have that right. So, in this situation, it's not exactly apples to apples because Walter already owned, I think, a 26% stake. But if you're buying the Lakers at a $10 billion valuation, that means that he's needing to pay like $1.5 billion or something like that by himself. So it's just a lot of money. There are not that many people in the world who can write those checks. And when you're the Buss family, you're rich, and yet somehow there's a level of rich above you.
Yeah, Ben, what about
They're poor
that?
billionaires.
Yeah,
it's a weird thing to say.
You got to do your best. You got to make ends meet any way you can, I guess. We're talking with Ben Horny from Front Office Sports. Ben, and maybe this is a much more complicated topic than you can get into in a minute or so, but like you just said, I know there's a lot of billionaires in the world, but there are not as many as you might think to be able to buy things like this. Does that mean that it's inevitable that foreign money ultimately comes into these leagues? We've seen what's happened to some soccer leagues across the world. We've seen Live Golf and some other places where there are people with virtually limitless money. Does that money make its way to the NBA and American sports more frequently?
Yeah, it's an interesting question. It's something I've been thinking about and trying to talk to people about. I mean, again, I don't have any insider knowledge of how the NBA is going to work, but we do know that the pro leagues in the U.S. have recently become more open to private equity money, as an example. And the natural extension of that is going international, sovereign wealth funds. To your point, there's a lot of international players who have seemingly limitless money, and you have to imagine that if these franchise values keep ballooning, they're going to need to be allowed in. So, there might need to be rule changes for how ownership structures work. But I wouldn't be surprised if in the next few years, next 5 years, you do start to see something like that happen.
Ben Horny, he covers sports finance, investment, and transaction activity. I'm going to get that right eventually. I can't say those two words together. Transaction activity for Front Office Sports, and he's got a newsletter as well, Asset Class. Ben, thanks for coming on with us. Appreciate it.
Thanks so much, guys.
You got it. Yeah, a $10 billion price tag, the maneuvering of the financiers involved in something like this are something that I will never be able to fully comprehend. But
well, it's none of your business.
It is none of my business
honest.
for sure. Like when I rent a car, I'm confused as to what's happening along the way. But I'm
very excited that my car is just about paid off. I've only got like 2 payments left. I feel like I accomplished something economically huge.
I'm going to go down too far. Remember when you had a car a long time ago, and you'd get the coupons each month, and you'd have to rip it off and mail it in before you could pay everything online, and that book would get thinner and thinner and thinner, and you finally tore off that. That was a good day.
It is a great.
I don't know if Mark Walter has coupons to send to Jeannie Buss to pay off the team, but the list of people that can buy $10 billion sports team is not as long as you might think.
He will have a lot of deferred money in about 10 years.
Yeah. I mean, I think he's doing all right. All right, we're going to continue to talk about all of this. If you're on hold, stay there. We're going to take your phone calls, 877-710-ESPN. And Andy, one of the questions that you asked Ben that we really have not gotten into a ton yet is, what is Jeannie's role moving forward? Because she is going to stay on in some capacity. We're not exactly sure what the governor will be involved in on a day-to-day basis, but we'll try to figure out what that might mean. That is coming up next. It's also a Ticket Thursday on 710 ESPN. Listen all day for your cue to call. And if you are caller number 7 at 877-710 ESPN, you will win 2 VIP tickets to the High Desert Beer and Wine Festival happening this Saturday, June 21st at the Palmdale Amphitheater. Craft brews, fine wines, food trucks, live performances, and more. So listen for your chance to win, or you can get tickets now at highdesertbeerandwinefest.com. It's all coming up. Travis DeMarco, 710 ESPN.
And you'll never forget the day you heard the Bus family is selling the Los Angeles Lakers. ESPN Sham Charania is reporting that the buyer is Mark Walter, the CEO of TWG Global, and the price is $10 billion. We're talking about it on your home of the Lakers, 710 ESPN, and the all-new ESPN LA app.
Breaking news on 710 ESPN is powered by Valvoline Instant Oil Change, home of the 15-minute drive-through oil change. Visit SoCalOilChange.com for coupons and locations.
When pain keeps you from doing what you love, Hoag Orthopedic Institute gets you back to you. We are ranked number 18 in the nation and number 1 in Orange County for orthopedic and spine care by U.S. News & World Report. From the surf to the green, our world-class doctors are there, which is why more Californians choose Hoag Orthopedic Institute for orthopedic and spine care more than any other hospital. At Hoag Orthopedic Institute, there is no one better at getting you back to you. Proudly founded by premier physicians in partnership with Hoag. Learn more at HoagOrthopedicInstitute.com.
Big on protein, rich on flavor. The new $10 Islands Restaurant's protein bowls are here for a limited time. Packed with over 40 grams of protein and stacked with fresh ingredients for the flavors you love. Just in a bowl. Find your protein paradise at islandsrestaurants.com.
Hey everybody, it's Cap. Are you downsizing or inheriting a home? Want to cash in on your equity? Call Sellers Advantage. They buy homes as is with no costly repairs, agents, or commissions. Get a competitive cash offer and close in days or on your timeline. Sellers Advantage has over 20 years of experience and even offers a $20,000 advance for moving expenses. Call 888-390-AS-IS or visit sellersadvantage.com for your no-obligation offer.
DRE number 01961658.
Don't worry, sell happy with Sellers Advantage.
Coverage of the 2025 NBA Finals on ESPN LA is brought to you by Chumba Casino, your favorite online social casino. Play anytime, anywhere for free for your chance to redeem some serious prizes. Head to ChumbaCasino.com and let's Chumba. Only available in permitted states. No purchase necessary. VGW Group. Void where prohibited by law. 21 plus. Terms and conditions apply.
Hey guys, it's Sedano. Los Angeles International Airport's People Mover trains begin rolling early next year as part of LAX's ongoing investments to transform and improve your travel journey. The People Mover trains will quickly move guests between their terminals and our new consolidated rental car center, metro trains and buses, economy parking, and Kiss and Fly lot. The trains will make it simple and fast to get to your LAX destination in 10 minutes or less, and trains depart every 2 minutes beginning in early 2026. Learn more at lawa.org/ESPN.
Thy ticket, Lady Jennifer of Coolidge.
Well, many thanks, good sir. Here'th my Discover card.
They accept Discover at Renaissance fairs?
Yeah, they do here. Discover is accepted at the places I love to shop. Getteth with the times.
With the times?
You're playing the lute. Yeah, and it sounds pretty good, right?
Discover is accepted at 99% of places that take credit cards nationwide. Based on the February 2024 Nielsen report.
Introducing the new Dell AI PC powered by the Intel Core Ultra processor. It helps do your busy work for you, so you can fast forward through editing images, designing presentations, generating code, debugging code, summarizing meeting notes, finding files, managing a schedule, and responding to Jim's long emails. Leaving all the time in the world for the things you actually want to do. No offense, Jim. Get a new Dell AI PC at Dell.com/AI-PC. How those ahead stay ahead.
And yes, welcome to the Travis and DeMarco Show. Now mornings, 9 a.m. to noon on 710 ESPN, your destination for LA sports. Let's get back to the fellas. The Travis and DeMarco Show continues right now.
Andy, are you in for DeMarco tomorrow as well?
No. I am actually playing the role of John Ireland tomorrow.
Oh,
I believe you're in with Beto tomorrow.
Beto tomorrow. Okay, good. I'll tell Beto all about my Top Gun experience last night, because today is not the day to recap my night out at Top Gun in the theater.
I love, though, by the way, that in the midst of all of this happening, like truly, the landscape in LA sports forever changed moving forward.
Yes.
You did not let that get in the way of your Top Gun night.
It's an hour and a half. It was great. Had a great time.
Oh, also the Dodgers in the middle of a big series with the Padres. Mark Walter.
By the way, got home right in time to watch Robleski give up a couple of runs in the ninth inning and then watch Will Smith walk it off.
I mean, the runtime is actually an hour 50, if we're being...
I'm not going to get into it too much right now. It felt longer than that, quite frankly. But it was...
Did your son like it?
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, it was good. I mean, we've all seen it before, and it was good, but I had a moment last night that I was not expecting, but we'll get into that tomorrow. Let's try a quick phone call here. Let's go to Los Angeles and Chris. Chris, you're on with Trav and Andy. What's up?
Good morning, guys. I love the move that happened, but I was just wondering initially the impact of all the money that Walters has because of the salary, the hard salary cap. So, but I was educated by Emily that apparently the administrative side is run a little bit on the budget kind of aspect, and so maybe this will help them bring in people who have better personnel evaluation. And then more importantly to me, though, maybe now we won't be so beholden to clutch sports, and it'll be run more like the Dodgers, like you were mentioning earlier, and not like a mom and pop where we value so much, people on the personal level side as opposed to what's best for the organization and the city. So I'm happy about it.
Thanks, Chris.
I mean, it's an interesting question. It's important to remember that even with Mark Walter and all that stupid money, there are still constrictions in the way that you can spend in the NBA that do not exist in baseball. Like there is no equivalent of a 10-year, $700 million deal in the NBA, regardless of whether you're willing to do it or not. That is illegal.
It's against the rules.
Right. It's against the rules. And there are legitimate reasons to sometimes want to stay out of a second apron that have nothing to do with money or luxury tax. It becomes more difficult to make trades. It can become more difficult to build your team.
I want to interject right there just because I struggle to wrap my head around what you're talking about right there. What we're talking about is not just you have to pay a penalty that costs you more money. They take things off the table that allow you to sign certain types of player, mid-level and other things that, and I'm just making things up. I have 10 options to build a team here. If you go over the second apron, now you get 3.
Right,
that we take these other things away from you. It's not just a financial penalty. It's an optionality penalty.
Yeah, absolutely. Like it is a much more punitive CBA on a lot of different levels that go beyond money. But there is no cap on what you can spend for your organization beyond your payroll.
Salary.
Beyond your player payroll. You can employ as many smart people in as many departments as you want, and the league can't do squat about that. As far as the clutch factor that was being asked about, I mean, look, Mark Walter is not going to want to come into this organization and declare war with Rich Paul.
No.
Like, that would be stupid.
No, that's not how he rolls either.
Right. Well, I mean, yeah, he's not going to be beholden necessarily to Rich Paul. And maybe if you want to say that the dynamic between Jeannie Buss and Rich Paul and sort of like the Lakers ethos of always catering to the legends, maybe that may change. But at the same time, I promise you, Mark Walter may not be afraid of, I'm blanking on his name, most powerful,
Scott Boras.
He's not afraid of Scott Boras, but I am willing to bet he's not going out of his way to antagonize Scott Boras either.
Because it's bad business.
It's bad business. That's where most of your clients are. Like Rich Paul, he's not Tom Hagen in The Godfather where he has one client. Like he does not only represent LeBron, he represents other guys that you're going to want on your team.
It doesn't, you don't go to war, I like that phrase, with clutch sports. You what you do is you redefine the negotiating terms with them, and they're not. And it doesn't mean that they're adversarial. They're just different. There is a understand. Let me back up a little bit. If any of us, you, me, Emily, Jorge, anybody knew that no matter what, nothing's going to happen to me, you're going to act one way. And then if the rules change with, hey, I need to make sure that everybody's getting what they want, that everybody is that this is the best for everybody, you're going to act a different way. It doesn't mean you're going to act poorly in both. It means you're going to act differently. And I think that's what will happen. And it will become more of an equitable negotiation, and not an adversarial one necessarily, but I don't think that they were on equal footing. I think that LeBron had high hand in almost all of this. I think he may or may not have it moving forward.
I think part of the problem, and if you want to say that this leads to LeBron having high hand, I would agree. Part of the problem, the way things were structured before, and with Jeannie at the top, and I think her idea, and maybe even ideal of the Lakers' ethos. We always take care of the true legends in the sport. We want them to retire as Lakers at all costs. We want them to be in this organization for as long as possible at all costs, because this is the way we've always done things. And if there is a reason that ultimately the setup with LeBron and the Lakers doesn't work moving forward when you have Luka in his prime,
yes,
I am more confident that Mark Walter will recognize this doesn't work anymore, and therefore something has to change than I would Jeannie.
Yeah.
In all honesty, I would have more confidence than Mark Walter, because he has not been beholden to that type of mindset.
And it also is you have the additional comfort, I think is the right word, or at least for me, that it isn't just I don't give a damn who you are, because that's not how they roll either. You look at Clayton Kershaw with the Dodgers. If it were a bottom line, what do you cost? What do you bring? What is your availability? I don't care what happened yesterday. I only care what happens tomorrow. Clayton Kershaw wouldn't be here anymore. He's here. And he's comfortable, and he's a lifelong Dodger.
And he's earned it.
And he's earned it, and they respect that.
And that's played a role in Austin Barnes having been here as long.
For sure.
Right. And look, Austin Barnes, the things that he brought to that team in terms of leadership and clubhouse culture, like that stuff matters. It's not like Austin Barnes had gotten a complete free ride, but that dynamic between him and Kershaw, it played a role until they ultimately decided, and obviously Austin Barnes is not LeBron, but they decided, like, this is not tenable anymore. And if the setup, the way it's been with LeBron, is not tenable anymore, that doesn't mean that LeBron's out the door, but it means the terms change.
Absolutely. What do you think her role? And we know that she's going to stay on as governor, which is a specific title in the NBA, a specific role in the NBA. Governor, blacken your boots, governor. Is it ceremonial? Is it something that is okay? You go to the draft and wave when they pull out the envelopes. Is it go sit there in the boardroom with Adam Silver when all the governors get together, or does she have a voice at the table when the Laker decision-making apparatus gets together and she can weigh in a meaningful way, not just you're here because you're here, but hey, I don't think this is a good idea and here's why, or hey, I think this is a great idea and here's why. What do you think her role is going to look like, and how long will she have it?
Can I give my honest answer?
Sure.
I have no effing clue.
Yeah.
Like, no idea, because she's the governor, and like you said, it's a very specific role. Every team has a governor. It's a requirement. And to the best of my understanding, the governor is in a lot of ways, like a representative. You know, I think ambassador might be too light of a way of putting it, but you are some type of team representative, which on its face would make perfect sense for Jeannie to be doing. Jeannie has always been great at repping the organization. Jeannie is very personable. She's very likable. Like, stuff like that she's always been awesome at. But Ramona, for example, had tweeted out that she will remain running the team.
Let me get in there right here. Here's Ramona with Clinton on his show earlier today talking about this exactly.
I think this was Mark Walter's idea for her to stay on. In getting to know Jeannie over the last 4 years and understanding how important she is to the brand, because the reason this franchise went for $10 billion, it's not because an NBA team is really worth $10 billion. They don't even own their building. It's the brand. I think Jeannie Buss understands the Laker brand better than anybody. I think he sees how important she is in running and keeping that brand alive. And also how she runs the business, right? Also how she runs the franchise. And so it was his idea for her to stay on And it's in writing. Like, this is Mark Cuban did not get his role in writing. Jeannie Buss is in writing. That's part of the deal.
So it's codified in the agreement.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Like this is not Mark Cuban tweeting out that he's going to be running.
We're going to take care of you, kid.
Like he tweeted out, like, I'm going to be running basketball ops Evermore, and Evermore was like less than 6 months. Like this is not that. And I imagine that Jeannie and Mark Walter had a much more solidified relationship than Mark Cuban and the Dumonts. Mm-hmm. But even with Ramona's explanation, none of which I disagree with, Jeannie definitely understands the brand. She was, by all accounts I ever heard, very good when she ran business ops. Mm-hmm. But that's not the same thing as running the team, being like the highest shot caller.
That's it.
She's not anymore.
Yeah.
Because Mark Walter is ultimately the highest shot caller now. And by Jeannie's repeated own admissions, she's never been anywhere remotely close to a central voice in basketball decisions. She's signed off on them, but she's never been one of the major players there. Again, by Jeannie's admission. So what does that mean running the team moving forward? Like, understanding the brand, yeah, but that's not running the team.
Yeah, running the team is a different job than being involved with the team.
Yeah, like, I got to be honest. I have, in practical terms, I have no idea what that means.
And I don't even know if we need to. Here's what I'm fairly certain of. He knows what he's doing. He hires really good people to inform him, and he makes the call. That's what he has shown up the road at Dodger Stadium. And he doesn't come in hot. He's not coming in, you're gone, you're gone. He comes in, looks around. Okay, I like that. I like that. I like that. We got to change that. We got to change that. And it's not done on a whim. It's done with some understanding of what's happening. A lot of people stay, and a lot of new people come in. And you've said it many, many, many times. It's not just a matter of a purge. It's a matter of adding and getting more people in with different views and that are not quite as Laker, heliocentric as it's been for so long. But when it's time to make a call, he'll do it. And that's exciting.
And thinking about this in real time, like running the team for the time being could be Jeannie overseeing the transition.
Yeah.
Because there likely is nobody better to oversee that transition than Jeannie Buss.
And there's not going to be any malice. Like there's no more, blank these guys, they're shoving me out. It's one of these, she cares deeply about the product.
She could have gotten out if she wanted to.
Yeah.
I mean, but again, like what this means, like what running the team actually means, I don't even know if they entirely know what that means.
Yeah, figure it out on the fly.
But it's going to be really interesting to watch.
I just know that when it comes time to make a decision that might not have been made before, it'll get made now.
Yes.
And that's the most exciting part of all of this, is that the decision-making apparatus is different. And the ultimate decisions, I think, will be different and put through a process that is different. And that is the single most exciting part about this. Yeah. Not just that he's a crazy rich guy. Great, that helps. But it's the methodology that's going to be used that is very different than the methodology that's been used previously, that I believe will yield real results because we've seen it.
Look,
it works.
We could all end up wrong about this, but I will say not just overwhelming, I would say universal.
It's almost unanimous.
I don't think it's almost unanimous. Like, as far as people who cover the league, I have not heard anything other than this is incredible news for the Lakers. I know I'm in that camp.
Yes, me too. Me too. Thumbs up to Mark Walter owning the Lakers. Factor Caps coming up next. It's Travis DeMarco, 710 ESPN. And thumbs up to my friend Joseph S. Normand, right? We know that you got a lot of choices in your legal team, but when it comes to being involved in an accident, when it comes to you getting hurt, right? It doesn't always have to be a car accident. Car accident is a great example of it, but you could be at a store. Something could fall on you, land on your foot, hit you in the head. There's a million different things that could happen. You need somebody that's going to treat your case like it's one of their own cases, like a family member, and that's what they do at the law offices of Joseph S. Normand. So if you are injured, call Joe, 213-747-2000. 213-747-2000. You can go to normandlegal.com. And it's confusing. It's scary. You're hurt. You're trying to go to work. You're trying to get the money that you're entitled to. And there's just so many different things. Let Joe take control. Let Joe offer you his expertise and get you what you deserve. 213-747-2000. It's the same call I made after I was in an accident, after my son was in an accident. And I feel great telling you to call the law office of Joseph S. Normand. 213-747-2000 and normandlegal.com.
We may get some news today.
If it breaks,
it'll be one of the biggest stories.
It'll be the biggest story of 2025.
Yeah, really?
Yeah, if it breaks.
The Bus family is passing the Showtime torch.
And, with Mark Walter as our owner and everything that's backing with what he did to the Dodgers, I'm all for turning the Lakers into an evil empire. I'm down for that.
The home of the Lakers, 710 ESPN, and on YouTube at ESPN Los Angeles.
Hey, it's John Ireland. If you've been searching for an energy drink that actually works without the crash or junk, look no further than Pro Baller Energy. Made with clean ingredients and natural caffeine, it gives you a smooth, focused boost, whether you're at work, on the golf course, or just need a pick-me-up. It's energy you can feel good about, and the limited edition Lakers can makes it even better. Find Pro Baller at Costco, Amazon, and select convenience stores today. Try it and see why champions choose clean energy.
Hey guys, it's Sedano. In the market for new flooring? Why pay more at big box stores? At Hernandez Wholesale Flooring, every day is a deal, no gimmicks. Call 866-62-FLOOR or visit them online at hernandezwholesaleflooring.net. No sale beats wholesale.
Bottom of the ninth, bases loaded, crowd rocking for Rotolo Chevrolet's top hitter, Mike Capozio. He's facing off with the Bulldog, and these two have quite the history. Here's the pitch. Oh, he got all of it. That ball is out of here like a red Corvette, and it's going and going and going. Yes!
Dad, are you having that dream again?
Come see what the fun is all about at Rotolo Chevrolet.
Hey Rams fans, it's your quarterback Matthew Stafford here. Join me for Walk United LA at the Rose Bowl Stadium on July 20th. Participants can walk or run to support fire recovery efforts and our most vulnerable LA communities. Learn more at walkunitedla.org. See you there.
Need assistance with door and window projects? The Home Depot can help. From inspiration and materials to ordering and installation, our free Millwork virtual apron service can get you moving and doing. Plus, we speak Spanish too. Our associates can help you tackle complex jobs without you leaving the job site, saving you time and money. Call us at 1-833-HD-APRON or visit homedepot.com/MVA. The Home Depot, how doers get more done.
In a world parched for excitement, one drink will emerge. Twisted Tea, the refreshing thrill ride of flavor. Recreating its classic role as the hard iced tea that goes down smooth. Twisted Tea doesn't just taste like real iced tea, it's made with real brewed tea and a 5% kick of alcohol. Taste the adventure with Twisted Tea Hard Iced Tea. Keep it twisted.
Twisted Tea Brewing Company, Cincinnati, Ohio. Please drink responsibly.
Here we go. It is Factor Cap time. Factor Cap on the Travis and DeMarco Show. Each weekday around 10:30, producer Emily serves up what's going down, and fun and frivolity ensues. Special thanks to the law offices of Joseph S. Normand for making Factor Cap possible.
It's Joseph S. Normand. It's Factor Cap on the Travis and DeMarco Show on 710 ESPN. And if you've been hurt in an accident, let me help you. Call my office at 213-747-2000. That's 213-747-2000.
Let's do it. Factor Cap right now.
Take it away, producer Emily.
Welcome to Factor Cap.
Thanks, Joe. Hi, guys.
Buenos dias.
Roars. Point of news, if you care about anything that's not the Lakers, but Tyrese Halliburton is expected to play in Game 6 tonight per Shams Charania. He had his calf injury that sidelined him for a bit of Game 5. He was able to finish that game, but it was up in the air whether he was going to play. He will play tonight and potentially the closeout game for the Oklahoma City Thunder. So we'll see how that happens, and I'd like to see Game 7. Would be fun.
And Mark Walter bought the Lakers.
And Mark Walter. I keep on wanting to say Wahlberg, just because that's Mark Wahlberg. Makes sense.
I'm not joking. My daughter thought it was Mark Wahlberg. She's like, Mark Wahlberg bought the Lakers?
He's that liquid?
It's a lot of cheeseburgers that they sold at Wahlburgers.
Oh, my God. I don't think he could do it. Like, even knowing the investment and, like, what your eventual return
he's a Bostonian.
He is a Bostonian through and through.
Right.
Like, I don't think Mark
It's like Ben Affleck buying the Dodgers. He can't do that. Even though he lives in LA, he's a Boston
You
guy.
know about which movie was it that was it?
It was Gone Girl. He wouldn't wear the Yankee cap because he was
Yes.
asked to wear the Yankee cap by David Fincher, and it came to a standoff between him and Ben Affleck, and Ben Affleck won. He did not wear a Yankee cap while doing Gone Girl. He wore, a Mets hat or something?
He refused to do it.
All right, so we're going to get to my Factor Caps now. So in other sports news, the Panthers won the Stanley Cup. Congrats to the Panthers.
2 in a row.
Alexander Barkov, who plays for the Panthers, was apparently walking around his neighborhood at 5 a.m. showing his neighbors the Stanley Cup, and there's a video, a Ring camera, of him ding-donging his neighbors and be like, hey, you want to see this? I got the cup here. So, my statement is, you would answer the door at 5 a.m. Travis, Factor Cap.
Fact, because an axe murderer is not ringing the doorbell. An axe murderer is kicking the door in. Somebody that rings your doorbell or knocks on your door is probably going to be okay, even if it's at a weird hour, because if somebody's up to no good, they don't announce their presence with a doorbell.
And it wouldn't be a solicitor at 5 a.m., likely.
You wouldn't think so. So, yeah, I believe I would answer the... I put it to this way. I wouldn't just swing it open. I would say, who's there? Hey, it's Alexander Barkov. I have the cup. Oh, cool. And then I'd pull the door open.
What if it's actually just an elaborate Mormon technique to get you to actually talk to them? So, hey, I have the Stanley Cup.
They got me.
Have you heard the good word? Andy.
Certainly one way to go about doing it. Fact, but I'm more, I guess, suspicious than Travis. My thought is, if you're ringing my door at 5 a.m., something feels like it's wrong. Whether that person is an axe murderer or not, no normal person rings the door of somebody that is likely a stranger at 5 a.m.
They're not borrowing a cup of sugar at 5 a.m.
Well, I would go to answer the door if for no other reason than to tell the guy, stop ringing my doorbell. It's 5 a.m., you jackwagon.
Because you're assuming they're drunk, there's something else.
Or it's a cop that's delivering bad news.
That's true as well.
That happened to me one time. My car, the license plates off it got stolen, and they got put onto a different car that was stolen.
Ooh.
So I get these cops showed up at my door wanting to talk to me about my car. And I'm like, my car is right over there. And they're like, well, your license plates involved with a stolen car. I'm like, my car is over there. I didn't even realize it. I had different plates on my car because they'd switched them out.
I'd never.
As long as you don't change the state, yeah, I'm not looking that closely.
I'd never noticed.
I didn't. Apparently, they'd been on my car for like a month, and I didn't notice.
Of course not.
Jorge?
Do you guys even know your license plate number? But
I do.
I have a picture on it because you got to pay by your license plate number on a lot of these apps now.
And
but
I
that's
like,
the only reason
I have like a mnemonic device in my head of like the first couple letters of ways to remember easily. But yeah, Jorge, what about this?
I would look to the peephole and ask who it is. But yeah, at 5 a.m, it's kind of strange to have just somebody knocking on your door.
Okay, so I saw this story from CBS Mornings, and it was about a California man who fell in love with his AI girlfriend. And he was using ChatGPT to help him with music editing, and then it turned into that he was using ChatGPT to talk to, and then turned into fall in love with. And I'm watching this story.
The movie Her.
Yeah.
Sorry?
It's the movie Her.
Yeah. So I'm watching this story. I'm like, oh, this is interesting. Turns out about 2:32 into the clip, we realize that he has a girlfriend, a partner that has been a human partner that he's been living with, has a child with, that he has fallen in love with this AI girlfriend. So put yourself into this situation, okay? You guys all have your lovely wives, but your lovely wife starts ChatGPTing it up with a AI boyfriend. This is cheating. Andy, Factor Cap.
Well, I mean, unless it's been consummated, and I truly don't want to know how that happened.
But there's emotional cheating.
Well, I was going to say, it is an emotional affair. It's not, I think, technically cheating in the way it's defined, because, again, I don't want to know how that got consummated. But it is definitely an emotional affair, and it's also an emotional affair with a machine. This is unsettling. This is very unsettling.
Travis?
It's Cap. It's not cheating, but where the relationship is done. because clearly you're not getting from me what you need, and you're going to a machine to get it is unusual.
Susan
is like yeah. It would be one of those. There's something wrong. The answer is probably there's something wrong with both of us in our relationship that you need this intimacy with a third party. In this case, a computer program. But it's not cheating. Like I feel like I've been betrayed, but it's a symbol that the relationship. I haven't been cucked by Hal, but the relationship has run its course.
You may have caught your wife in bed
with
the phone, but you didn't catch your wife in bed with the phone.
Jorge?
Yeah, I don't think it's cheating either, but things for sure are going to be weird after that, because if you can't tell me the reasons why you have to go to a computer or your phone, it's just odd.
Open the pod bay doors, Hal.
Or if it's one of those things that you just can't express it with your partner and you need something else, I don't know. Maybe who knows?
Call that therapy.
Yeah.
They call that a marriage
A lot of people
counselor.
are using ChatGPT as therapy, which I would not recommend. I would recommend a therapist. All right, next thing is
a person.
Yes, seems important.
So after the news that Mark Walters bought the Lakers, Luka earlier this morning posted this on his on X, Twitter. The Lakers are an amazing organization. I'm looking forward to meeting Mark and excited about the future. I'm also grateful to Jeannie and the Bus family for welcoming me to LA, and I'm happy that Jeannie will continue to be involved. I look forward to working with both of them to win championships. Great, pretty average statement from Luka. He's going to be here. Great news. The person we haven't heard from is LeBron. He has not posted on X Twitter. We haven't seen him on Instagram, any other place. We haven't heard from him about his reaction to this news. So it's a big deal that LeBron hasn't spoken yet. Trev?
I want to put a pin in this, and I want to come back and talk about it on the other side, because it's a great question, and yes, it means something. What it means, I think, is open to interpretation, but it absolutely means something. We'll talk about that when we come back. Factor Cap, of course, is sponsored by the Law Office of Joseph S. Normand. You've got a lot of choices in your legal team, but with Joe, family always comes first. That is a fact. Call 213-747-2000. That's the Law Office of Joseph S. Normand. You can go online at normandlegal.com. 213-747-2000. Nothing from LeBron yet. What does it mean? That's next. Andy's in for DeMarco on 710 ESPN.
The biggest show on the radio.
Mason in Ireland is next at noon after Travis and DeMarco.
For people who don't know, Mark Walter is the head of the Guggenheim Group that runs the Dodgers. And Mace, you have always said, what you really want is Yankees West.
Yankees West.
With endless deep pockets. We now have not as much money as Steve Ballmer, but pretty darn close.
Damn close.
This is massive.
The OGs of LA Sports Talk.
Mason and Ireland on 710.
At Children's Hospital Los Angeles, we're a nationally recognized leader in pediatric care, honored by U.S. News and World Report as one of the best in the country. Here, we achieve amazing breakthroughs that change lives. From groundbreaking cancer therapies that offer new hope to young patients, to advanced heart procedures that save lives. We partner with families to conquer challenges and achieve extraordinary outcomes. Choose the best care for your child at chla.org.
30 years ago, Wu-Tang Clan changed hip-hop forever. Now, it's time for the Final Chamber. Live in Los Angeles, Wu-Tang Clan, together, live on stage, the beginning of their final tour. Live this Sunday at Crypto.com Arena with Run the Jewels. Get tickets now at WuTangClan.com. Wu-Tang Forever, the Final Chamber. Produced by AEG Presents.
With Progressive's collision coverage, my family gets up to $1,000 for vet bills if I'm injured in a car accident. And that makes this Chihuahua really feel like part of the family. What's that? I don't sound like a Chihuahua? Oh, I'm sorry. What exactly am I supposed to sound like? I guess all Chihuahuas are high-strung, riding around in expensive designer purses. Actually, I prefer riding in cars. So I appreciate that my family protects me with Progressive's pet collision coverage. Okay, maybe I am a little high-strung. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and Affiliates. Not available in all states. Coverage for dogs and cats is included with the purchase of collision coverage and is subject to policy terms.
Level up your summer projects with 4th of July savings on top brand cordless power tools from the Home Depot. Whether you're working on a fence, a planter box, or a new workbench, get the power and runtime you need with the Ryobi One Plus 18-volt 2 toolkit from the Home Depot for only $99, was $139. Get 4th of July savings on the cordless power you need to make summer projects easier than ever right now at the Home Depot.
And yes, welcome to the Travis and DeMarco Show. Now mornings, 9 a.m. to noon on 710 ESPN, your destination for LA sports. Let's get back to the fellas. The Travis and DeMarco Show continues right now.
Do you want to play in ESPN LA's second annual listeners game? If you would like to, visit ESPNLA.com right now for your chance to secure a roster spot. Don't miss the chance to play on my team, Team Travis. Or I guess if you want, you can play on Team DeMarco. Visit ESPN
Assuming
LA.
he's healthy by then.
Yeah, he's back by then. Hey, he'll be back. He'll be back on Monday. ESPN LA is where you go to sign up for one of those two teams. Of course, thanks to our friend, the law office of Joseph S. Normand. So,
maybe that's the game, by the way, that Parker gets into. Because Parker's been trying to get into the Team Cappy, Team Mace. He's got the hashtag Let Parker Play.
Yeah.
Thus far, it's been unsuccessful. Maybe Parker under nom de plume poses as a listener, and that's how he gets in.
Barker Pell gets to come in
Yeah.
and play on the
Might
team.
have to shave the mustache, something like that, dye his hair.
I want Parker to play, and I want him to play on Team Cappy.
Oh,
I think the main sticking point is that he's being used as like a silent reporter, which is great. He is good at that. But I think we have other very talented members of our social team that could be great silent reporters as well. We could have Graham, we could have Anthony, we
Yes.
could have other people serve that function.
I mean, hell, give him my spot. I can do it.
Parker.
I mean, by like the third inning,
Trudell.
I'm more than happy to play the role of Parker Bell.
Yeah, you could play first base after the first or second inning if you'd like, Andy.
And I think they need to keep the same like
We'll
Chiron
do the
underneath
sideline
you,
reporter.
Andy. They
Not
need
me.
to keep it as Parker Bell underneath you. But then like, oh wow, Parker got old really quick.
Yeah. See, now she's doing it to you.
Ba-
Doesn't
I
feel
mean,
very
look,
good,
man, hard game of softball will age the best of us.
It,
Emily.
it really takes a lot
No
out of you.
sunscreen.
All right, so LeBron James has not weighed in on the sale of the Lakers to Mark Walter. Dodger owner Mark Walter bought the team. News broke yesterday, shortly after noon, but 1, 2 o'clock, something like that. And Luka has weighed in. A lot of people around the sports world have weighed in. LeBron James is very online. LeBron James is very aware of what he says has impact. More to the point, what he does not say has impact. What do we make of the fact that here we are approaching 24 hours and we have not heard from LeBron?
I don't know, but I would caution people against thinking that it is automatically negative. I want to
agree.
make it clear.
I agree.
It could be.
And I would like to say, just to clarify, he has posted on Instagram since then, but not in regards to anything with the Lakers. He posted about the anniversary of the Cleveland 3-1. He's posted the Mind the Game, and then he's also posted an ad for Amazon. So he is posting on his social media, just not about the Lakers.
Right. And it certainly could reflect LeBron being unhappy, uncertain, whatever, about this new era with the Lakers. It's possible. But the reason that I would caution against automatically assuming that's what it is because there's no reason to believe automatically that LeBron would have bad feelings about Mark Walter, that partnership. Like, for example, the Dodgers have done a LeBron bobblehead at the stadium in 2020. The Dodgers and LeBron teamed up to do polling stations for the election at Dodger Stadium. Like, that was something directly involved with LeBron, those two entities teaming up. Now, if you're asking me, do I think LeBron is aware, some things are changing and there's a power dynamic that once existed that may not anymore, where I had, as Seinfeld liked to say, hand?
Right.
LeBron ain't dumb. LeBron is likely aware I will not have exactly the same juice that I had before. But I think it is getting ahead of ourselves to automatically assume because LeBron has not posted about this, he's mad.
I agree with that. Yes, I want to add something to this. That Luka has tweeted about it, and in the story on ESPN.com, I want to read you a brief paragraph. Sources told Shelburne, Momo, that Lakers star Luka Dončić, acquired in the blockbuster February trade that sent Anthony Davis to the Dallas Mavericks, was given a short heads up on the purchase agreement. Luka Dončić was told, hey, this is coming down the road. LeBron's name is not in that sentence.
I have heard, though, I have heard Ramona say that she assumed LeBron had been given a heads up.
Okay.
I don't know if she knows.
Okay, fair enough.
But I had heard her say in one of the zillion interviews Momo's done since then that she assumed LeBron had been given a heads up.
Okay.
But it is, if nothing else, Luka weighing in. We know for sure because we've seen him on Twitter. We know that Luka's being given a heads up. It's just another reminder that the face of the organization moving forward, the most important player moving forward, is Luka. And that is something everybody has known, including LeBron. It's something LeBron has acknowledged.
Mm-hmm.
Like, LeBron knows this is not his organization moving forward.
That's what I think is so fascinating, because it has been two things. Number one, when you are in an entity, I don't care if it is a basketball team, a school, an insurance company, it doesn't matter. Wherever it is you work, if new people come in that are in charge, there's a little bit of, whoa, okay. And if you're anything approaching normal, your first, or at least one of your first thoughts is, what does this mean for me?
Of course.
That's just the way that it works, right? Am I okay? Am I not okay? What happens to my boss? What happens to my coworker, et cetera, et cetera. So that is a perfectly normal reaction. I think what is atypical with regard to LeBron James specifically, it has been a very, very, very long time since LeBron James did not know in his bones that I'm going to get to do whatever I want, whenever I want, however I want. That may have changed yesterday. Not that it's going to be confrontational, adversarial, not that, but the hand, to continue the analogy, is not necessarily high hand anymore. It might be even hand. It might be slightly lower hand. But this idea that I'm going to get what I want no matter what. This is the first time in his basketball career where that's probably not true. And the most important part of what I said, I think, is, no matter what. I think he's likely to get what he wants. But it's not, no matter what. Now the no matter what is no longer guaranteed.
I think there's a really good example of it. LeBron has known that it's Luka's team moving forward. And look, LeBron used to pump up the idea of it's Anthony Davis's team moving forward. Like Rich Paul had even said, the Lakers should be making their decisions with AD front of mind even before LeBron, because Anthony Davis is 31, I believe, and LeBron is 40. Like, that is the way any rational organization would run their franchise. So LeBron has known that Luka is the most important guy, that Luka is going to be the first person considered.
Sure.
But in terms of things that could change, the idea that LeBron can automatically maintain an open-ended contract situation where it's, I keep doing a series of 1+1s with a player option at $50 million a pop in perpetuity for however long I want. I am guessing / hoping that has changed, not because I want LeBron booted out the door, but because you can't build functionally when one guy making that much money is in an open-ended, no endpoint situation. Like when the Lakers signed LeBron, they did not think he'd still be here.
No, of course not.
I don't think LeBron even thought
of course not. That when it was hey, let's get a title, let's see what happens, and then we'll get the last 4 or 5 years of this guy's career. Here we are, and we're well past 4 or 5 years, and he's still an important part of what they're doing. I want to go. I go back to literally the first thing I said this morning when we came on the air. With regards to LeBron, it connects exactly to that, which is vision. That I can't have a clear vision, and I being Mark Walter. Mark Walter cannot have a vision for what he's going to do with this team if I don't know where all the pieces on the board are. I'm not saying that you can't be a piece on the board, but you can't tell me, well, I'll show it to you later, or we're going to move it here. I need to know what do you want? Like not in perpetuity, not in a nebulous, well, we'll see, I'll let you. I need to know what you want. And let's see if we can find a way to make your vision and my vision align. But if they don't, then they don't. And by the way, if you won't tell me what your vision is, then clearly they don't, and I need to make a different decision.
Look, it was one thing also to do it this way when it was LeBron and AD. Like, Anthony Davis still in his prime, but in the back part of his prime. Like Anthony Davis has 1-2 years left that everybody would agree he's in his prime.
Yeah.
Like it's one thing to do it with that situation where we're not quite sure if there's anything better to do anyway. We're not quite sure where we would take the organization. So this may not be the most ideal way to do it. It's certainly not the most conventional way, but fine. We don't have a better option on the table. You have Luka Dončić just entering his prime. And starting in 2026, you may have a lot of contracts off your books, an incredible amount of at least potential optionality. You have to start prioritizing as many different avenues as possible. You can't, at this point, keep LeBron in an open-ended situation and hope to build the best team around Luka.
Vision.
Yeah.
I need to
but
know.
Also resolve. It's not just vision, it's resolve.
It is. And they have shown that they have both. They have shown that they have vision, that they have resolve, that they're willing to make hard decisions when it's time to make a hard decision. They're willing to work with people when it's time to work. It is not a my way or the highway. It's a let's figure this out together or let's not figure this out together. And I could not be more excited for what's coming next. And not just because there's new ownership, but because there's specifically that ownership. That takes it to a whole nother level. Plus now we are down to just a couple of family-run teams in all of pro sports. That's coming up next. It's Andy in for DeMarco on 710 ESPN.
All over the Buss family selling the Lakers.
How does Jeannie remain being the governor while not being majority owner?
She is in charge for the foreseeable future. I don't know how many years it is. I think it's more than one, more than two probably, maybe even three. I don't know how long that's written into the contract, but it's written in the contract.
The Buss family is passing the Showtime torch.
The home of the Lakers, 710 ESPN, the all-new ESPN LA app, and on YouTube at ESPN Los Angeles.
Hey guys, it's Sedano. Flashy discounts, gimmicky sales? Don't fall for it. At Hernandez Wholesale Flooring, we give you honest, wholesale pricing all year long. No bogus markups, no tricks, just the best floors at the best prices. Call 866-62-FLOOR. No sale beats wholesale. Hernandez Wholesale Flooring, check them out at hernandezwholesaleflooring.net or call them at 866-62-FLOOR.
For the best prices on hardwood, carpet, and more, call 866-62-FLOOR.
Coverage of the 2025 NBA Finals on ESPN LA is brought to you by Chumba Casino, your favorite online social casino. Play anytime, anywhere for free for your chance to redeem some serious prizes. Head to ChumbaCasino.com and let's Chumba.
Only available in permitted states. No purchase necessary. VGW Group. Void where prohibited by law. 21 plus. Terms and conditions apply.
Hey guys, it's Sedano. If you're ready to upgrade your driving experience, you gotta go and check out what's happening at Cadillac and their incredible new lineup of state-of-the-art EVs, sedans, and SUVs. And hey, look, there's no better place to experience the luxury of Cadillac than at Cadillac of Beverly Hills. Check out Cadillac of Beverly Hills and their beautiful showroom at 8767 Wilshire Boulevard in Beverly Hills. And check them out on the web at CadillacBeverlyHills.com.
Hey Rams fans, it's your quarterback Matthew Stafford here. Join me for Walk United LA at the Rose Bowl Stadium on July 20th. Participants can walk or run to support fire recovery efforts and our most vulnerable LA communities. Learn more at walkunitedla.org. See you there.
Pacific Palms Resort, LA's Hilltop Hideaway and #1 work and play resort, provides opportunities for all travelers and locals. Enjoy restful accommodation, dine in the Red Restaurant with an expansive outside patio, or pamper yourself and relax at the spa. Hit the links at one of their 2 championship courses, the Babe and the Ike. Pacific Palms Resort is the perfect choice for a Los Angeles venue for your business meetings, weddings, and big events. Enjoy a beautiful staycation or family holiday at their Hilltop property. Book your stay at LA's #1 work and play resort today at PacificPalmsResort.com.
Hi, this is Sean McVay of your LA Rams. The Rams play here. KSPN, Los Angeles.
710 ESPN.
A good karma brands radio station.
It is Travis Rogers. It is DeMarco Farr. The Travis and DeMarco Show is on for your Thursday. Here we go, Thursday, June 19th edition. And DeMarco's out again as the sickness continues. Andy Kamenetsky, who did double duty last night, did this show yesterday, and then the world ended. when the announcement came that Genie Bus is selling the Lakers to the Dodgers, essentially. He did a night show from 6 to 8 p.m. with Beto Duran last night, taking live reaction. And now he's back in for DeMarco. Travis and Andy, along with producer and producer Jorge, the social team in the back, as we react to the news that the Lakers have been sold. No more Bus family. At least we'd think that's how it's all going to shake out. We're going to react to that. Plus Dodgers, Padres last night, and Game 6 of the NBA Finals tonight. Let's do it. The Travis and DeMarco Show with Andy in for DeMarco. Your Thursday right now.
Quadruple duty for Andy yesterday. A couple of locked on emergency pod, one regular pod. And listening to Morales' intro there, we're reacting to the sale of the Lakers to Dodger owner Mark Walter. Yes. What's interesting and yet not really all that surprising, I guess, and you said it a second ago, Andy, I said it's almost unanimously met with pause, and you said I don't think it's almost. I have not heard anybody that's not excited about this, and that is exceptionally rare. Exceptionally rare to have a team like, first of all, rare to have a team like the Lakers sell at all. Those crown jewel franchises don't move as often. Lakers hadn't been moved in over 40 years. That it was the longest ownership group in the entire league. But that when it did run, it was met with unabashed enthusiasm and excitement about what's coming next. And it's a testament to how well Mark Walter and his crew ran the Dodgers that it's like there's no more, well, let's see what's next. It's let's go.
Well, it's really rare that you have a new ownership group that comes in where you actually have a track record to look at in sports specifically.
In town.
Right. In town, in sports. Like, I don't care how incredibly successful hedge fund venture capitalist guy and their company have been in that world. That does not mean squat in this world. With Mark Walter, you have proof of concept in sports, like in this world. Hell, the Sparks. He's even been in the basketball world. Mm-hmm. He's been a 27% minority owner with the Lakers before then. So I'm going to go out on a limb and say he's been paying attention.
Yeah, for sure.
Like he's familiar with the innards of this organization anyway, because next to anybody with the last name Buss, he's been the highest shareholder that exists. Like the dude, it's maybe like the Cronkies, or like one of the few examples where you can look at their actual track record in sports as opposed to their track record in business.
There was a moment where this was not true, right? Go back to when he bought the team, the Dodgers, that is, in 2012. And the reaction was overwhelmingly positive, but for an entirely different reason.
Because his last name wasn't McCourt.
Right. It was just get Frank McCourt out of here. That guy sucks. And Frank McCourt did the thing that I literally thought was impossible. He made people stop going to Dodger games. Like the Dodgers have had some highs and lows as far as performance on the field over, they've been here since the late 50s. But people always went to Dodger games, always.
It was bad enough that baseball stepped in.
They were bankrupt. They didn't have any money. Like it was as bad as that. It wasn't that Mark Walter was coming in. It was Frank McCourt was leaving.
Well, these people were cheering.
Out.
They didn't even know who Mark Walter was.
That's exactly right. And now 2012 to 2025, here we got 13, 14 years of track record. That it's not that Jeannie Buss finally she's gone. It's not that there's a little bit of that, I think, to a lot of Laker fans, but it's mostly wow, she's sold the team, and wow times a million, she sold it to that guy, and we know what he does. We know how he rolls. We know the level of excellence that's come along with his ownership. We know that he respects tradition. You know that he respects history. You know that he respects the sports fan in L.A. He understands what we want, what we appreciate, what we're looking for, and he's awesome at it.
Look, the Lakers needed to sell. The Buss family needed to sell in the not-so-distant future to somebody wealthier than them, period. Like, the Buss family was simply not in a position to compete with the rest of the NBA, with all these different ownership groups where their prime source of money, the revenue, is coming from somewhere else. And no matter how much they care about that team and how competitive they legitimately are, or if it's just a plaything and a status symbol. Either way, it was not their source of revenue. For the Lakers, this was the primary resource. And that, it doesn't generate enough money, like continual money, that you can feel confident spending the way you need to, or it may just not continually generate enough, period. This needed to happen, but that it happened with this guy, that's the game changer.
I don't know if it's the last one, but it's one of the last ones where it's a family-run organization. And I don't mean that derisively at all. I mean that from an economic perspective, like you just described, Andy, that before, this family owned this team and this family owned that team. And now it's these hedge fund groups, it's private equity guys,
tech bros
that they have something else that they don't do like you've just described. There's still Jerry Jones in Dallas. There's the Steinbrenner brothers in New York with the Yankees, but the Lakers were
Roonies.
I'm sorry?
The Roonies.
The Roonies are there. There's a few, but
the Giants, I believe, are still that way.
There,
the New York Giants.
There are fewer and fewer of them, and the Lakers, I think, are kind of like the death throes of this for all the reasons you said. Yes, they're billionaires on paper, but they're not billionaires in cash flow and in liquidity. And now they are. And you're just going to see they're going to start to operate in a way. I know it's a cap league and all this, but in every way that you can have unlimited resources, now they do.
Well, and even something like, it's important to remember the second apron, for example. It's not just about luxury tax and willingness to spend and the amount of your payroll. Like once you start getting into these areas, it becomes legitimately harder to build your team because there are trade restrictions. There are different ways that go beyond just willingness to spend, where all of a sudden you're in trouble. But the good news is now, if there is a reason, like a targeted reason to go into the second apron because you're like, this makes the most sense for building our roster, and it's going to be super expensive, a lot of taxes, this group can actually do it without worrying about it.
Let's try a phone call here. Let's go to Santa Clarita and DJ. DJ, you're on with Trav and Andy. What's going on?
Hey, thanks for taking my call, guys. Love the show. Real quick, I just want to ask, since Magic is a part owner of the Dodgers, will he have his foot in the Lakers now? And I'll listen off air. Maybe GM.
Thanks, DJ. Look, I think two things are happening, right? We spent a lot of today talking about how one of the things that is exciting about Mark Walter's ownership group is that Mark Walter is going to look to find the best persons for the job, to create more opportunities for more people to do the job as well as possible. It's also true that he has a relationship with Magic Johnson. Now, whether Magic Johnson will be, I would imagine Magic will have some sort of role to run the team. I think we've seen that. I don't think that he's the right guy for the job.
I'll take it a step further. Yeah. If Magic ultimately ends up with Rob Pelinka's job, everything we've been talking about for the last 2 hours and 10 minutes, we were all idiots.
He will have a role, but it's not going to be that role.
He's not the best person for the job.
There you go.
Honestly, if your instinct is to put Magic in that role, keep Pelinka. Because Rob Pelinka, I think, is actually better at it than Magic. If I got to choose.
Think a Sam Presti type person. Maybe it's Sam Presti himself. Maybe it's Bob Myers. Maybe it's somebody whose name we're not particularly familiar with at this moment that is ready to take a step into that job, that has a vision that aligns with what Mark Walter wants to do. This will not be necessarily, where this would have been true before, somebody that we're all familiar with because they've been in the Laker universe for the last 30 years. This could be somebody's like, who? Oh, okay. But if Mark Walter blesses it, I think we can all feel pretty good about it.
But also, too, like if you are looking to land a big free agent, do I want Magic Johnson as the ultimate guy at the top of basketball operations? No, I don't. I don't think, Magic was that great at it, but also Magic has so many other things going on. Like Magic does not want to put in the hours, the 24/7 labor that comes with it. But if you're looking to close, get a signature, get an agreement from a free agent, and you want some people in the room, You're damn right I want Magic there.
Yes, for sure. As a closer like that, but what you're looking for is Andrew Friedman. And I don't know if he knows basketball or has friends in the NBA, sir, but you're looking for that guy that does the same thing with basketball, to scout better than others, to develop better than others, to find undervalued assets, to find the right guy for the right job, to team build. And I used this example earlier, but I think it's a really good one. Andrew Friedman has wanted Tommy Edman for many seasons. He couldn't get him for a variety of reasons. Cardinals didn't want to trade him and all of these other things, but that's a guy that we wanted. And he wanted Shohei from the time that he came out of high school, but that's Shohei, that everybody knew that.
I could have told you go get Shohei.
But Tommy Edman is not one of those players. Tommy Edman's a guy that's the sort of guy we need to make our team better, to make us more versatile. It's economical to a certain point, and they kept trying, and they eventually get their man. You want somebody that can do that. And when it's time to go get Ohtani, let's go get Ohtani.
Okay, look at the two teams in the finals right now. The OKC Thunder, the Indiana Pacers. They are both teams that have had to build finals-level teams that don't have market to work with at all. These are two markets that free agents do not trip over themselves to go to. They have to make this happen through smart drafting, smart trades, and not just, the trade for SGA. Like, SGA's turned into an MVP, and you could tell as a rookie with the Clippers, he's going to be good. You didn't know he was going to be this good.
Right.
Getting Pascal Siakam, that was a great trade for Indiana, but, Pascal Siakam was a proven commodity. He had been a starter on a championship team. Like, those guys are good. But the idea of getting Aaron Nesmith from Boston, even though he hadn't shown nearly the same amount of stuff with the Celtics that he has with the Pacers, like recognizing someone like Isaiah Hartenstein would be really great for us. Recognizing just how great Alex Caruso was when the Lakers didn't at the time. Like, it's drafting a guy like Aaron Wiggins in the second round for the Thunder. Like, these are the type of things that help you build a team. Any idiot can say, go get Luka.
It's Max Muncy and Teoscar as much as it is Mookie and Ohtani.
Recognizing
it's yes.
I mean, people will forget when the Lakers, because I know he turned into like a Dodger legend, but when the Dodgers brought in Justin Turner, that was hardly
No, that's what I mean. And unless you were deep in the weeds of Major League Baseball,
you didn't know who he was.
Teoscar Hernandez was, okay. It's an incredibly shrewd
Justin Turner was
signing.
a reclamation project. He had washed out with the
Max
Mets.
Muncy washed out with the A's. Chris Taylor had washed out with the Seattle Mariners. Like, they're finding both Sasaki and Yamamoto and Ohtani and Betts and Freeman, super high dollar guys.
That's not even finding.
No, that's just paying for.
That's watching the league.
It's those other guys. Yeah, we'll take him. He can play for us. Not only can he play for us, he will help us. He'll make us a better team. That's where it gets exciting. Let's try one more here. Let's go to Redondo Beach and Matt. Matt, you're on Trav and Andy. What's up?
Hey, I got a question for you guys, but real quick. Magic, one of probably the greatest point guard ever, but possibly one of the worst front office player personnel decision makers ever, too. And the question is, I love bottomless pockets to compete with, for example, the Warriors, but those guys aren't just going to they're not just going to give money away. So how's this going to affect ticket prices and the average fan that's just trying to go to a couple games every season?
Well, Matt, it's a good question, and I think we all know the answer to this. You been to a Dodger game lately?
No, because it's too expensive.
Yeah, there you go. I mean, I
don't know how much a michelada costs over at Crypto. But
I know what they cost at Dodger Stadium.
Yeah.
They cost $24.
I looked tonight, so I was looking to see maybe if I want to go to the game tonight against the Nationals. Okay, a team that's they're on a losing streak. 11 games? Going to be a bad game from that perspective. I try to get the cheapest possible ticket. It's the cheapest ticket I've seen all year.
Yeah.
$45 for the very, very tippity top.
Look, yes, the prices will go up. Your can of Modelo will cost more. Your hot dog will cost more.
Boo.
But yes, it is a boo, Em. But here's the thing, and I'm not. You're right. It sucks that more people can't go more often at an affordable price. You're right. But what makes it at least palatable is that they take a lot of that money and put it right back on the field.
It's the best you can ask for.
Absolutely.
It's not the Rockies.
If they were charging you $24 for a can of beer and your team was J.D. Drew and Jeff Kent, you're like, well, this sucks. These guys are surly. The team kind of is crappy. And what are we doing here? Mookie Betts is on the team. Freddie Freeman's on the team. Shohei Ohtani's on the team. Yamamoto's on the team. Sasaki's on the they give Will Smith a new deal. Like, they're putting the money back on the field. And yes, it's expensive. And yes, it's prohibitive for some. And that's a drag. It is. But the product on the field, the experience in the ballpark is an A-plus experience. And like you said, Andy, that's all you can really ask for. It's expensive, but you're not getting ripped off. And there's a difference between those two things.
You're right. And if you can get there, that'd be great. But I was reading a piece earlier from June Lee, who is doing, he followed with the ESPN, does New York Times opinion pieces for The Athletic. And it's just talking about how the literal cost of not just the Dodgers, it's the Red Sox, could cost up to like $4,000 a year. If you want to be a sports fan, go to maybe 2 or 3 games a year with a family of 4.
And it's
prohibitive.
It is. But unlike the Red Sox, Mookie Betts is on our team. Unlike some of these other teams that are prohibitive, this is the best version of an incredibly expensive sports experience.
I would say this. If you want to claim that all of the Mark Walters of the world, that they could afford to still spend the way they do and charge fans less, your answer is yeah, you're right. They could. And if you want to argue that they should, it would be the right thing to do, given the financial discrepancies between the average fan base and them. Yeah, you're right. Like, it would be the right thing to do. Flip side, though, is the Clippers in the Donald Sterling era used to make it dirt cheap to get into that building. And you know why? Because it largely wasn't worth watching. If they didn't make it dirt cheap, nobody would go.
Let's use this as an example. I saw this morning. The Angels are offering a package where you pay $49 and you can go to every home game in a month. Where do you want to go?
If I live close to Anaheim.
Okay, go ahead. Go. Go. You can pay for. You can go to every game with the exception of the Dodger games. Those were carved out for $49 in a month for the rest of the season. $49 for July, August, September. $150. You could go to every Angel game except for the 3 against the Dodgers, or you could go watch what's happening up the hill here. That's the difference. What do you want? You want cheap? Cheap, I remember when I was in sales, my sales manager had this. Cheap does not refer to price, it refers to quality. And cheap is cheap. And the Angels experience right now is cheap. It's inexpensive, cheap, affordable, whatever you want. This costs a ton of money for a good reason, but it costs a ton of money.
I'm reading in the chat right now for the Travis DeMarco show from Pokey Dabs. Says, every time I buy a beer, I say, this is for Ohtani.
Yeah.
And then Aunt Esther offered the advice, bring edibles.
They'll let you bring food in. You can bring your food to Dodge. Like, there's a way to try to navigate it. But look, Ohtani's makes $700 million. They got to pay for it.
And look, I think Emily is correct. Like, the idea, if you want to say that these owners could still spend and do more to make it affordable, yes, they could. Would it be the right thing to do? Yes. It's also not going to happen. So at that point, you just have to think about, assuming you can afford to do it at all, and hopefully people can, maybe even just once, twice a year, what is the best use of your money? Like, if you're going to end up spending a lot, are you at least getting something for the money? The best you can do.
You're getting something for this money. Did we just crown a new most powerful owner in sports? That's coming up next. It's Trav. Andy's in for DeMarco on 710 ESPN. Speaking of crowning a champion year after year after year, how about Dealer of the Year for Chevrolet? That's what Rotolo Chevrolet does 13 years in a row. They win Dealer of the Year. That's pretty impressive. That is a run that not many teams or any businesses go on, and they do it the same way every year, by making sure that you have an experience that you're never going to forget. By getting the Chevy car truck that you've had your eye on at the price that you love, the selection that you've been looking for, and customer service that will make you tell all your friends over and over and over again. So if you've been thinking about that Silverado, if you've been thinking about a Chevy car truck, get yourself out to Rotolo Chevrolet and come see what all the fun is about. Come see why Mike Capozio is having such a great time. Come see what he's taught his team, and they execute it every single day. Transparency, courteousness, the unbelievable customer service experience that you will never forget at Rotolo Chevrolet. Right off the 210 freeway, Sierra Avenue exit. You cannot miss it. It is right there, all the Chevy cars and trucks. And if Fontana's a little out of your neck of the woods, that's cool. Go online, rotolochevy.com. ROTOLO, rotolochevy.com. And whether you go in to the lot or whether you go online, make sure they know that I sent you in there.
Can't
Oklahoma City close it out tonight. Game 6 of the NBA Finals in Indiana as the Pacers fight to stay alive, and OKC looks to hoist the Larry O'Brien Trophy. Coverage starts at 5:30 p.m. tonight. Game 6 of the NBA Finals on 710 ESPN and on the all-new ESPN LA app. The NBA Finals.
Welcome to Big Tobacco's Fantasyland, where vapes are anti-aging. Because you're more likely to die younger from a stroke.
Tile on the all-new ESPN LA app. The NBA Finals on 710 ESPN.
When pain keeps you from doing what you love, Hoag Orthopedic Institute gets you back to you. We are ranked number 18 in the nation and number 1 in Orange County for orthopedic and spine care by U.S. News and World Report. From the surf to the green, our world-class doctors are there, which is why more Californians choose Hoag Orthopedic Institute for orthopedic and spine care more than any other hospital. At Hoag Orthopedic Institute, there is no one better at getting you back to you. Proudly founded by premier physicians in partnership with Hoag. Learn more at HoagOrthopedicInstitute.com.
Ready for a delicious escape? The new Islands Restaurant's $10 protein bowls are your ticket. Packed with over 40 grams of protein and stacked with fresh ingredients. They're only here for a limited time, so enjoy one today. Visit islandsrestaurants.com.
Hey, it's John Ireland. Laker fans, meet Pro Baller Energy, the official energy drink of the Lakers. It's clean energy without the crash. No synthetic junk, just a smooth boost to keep you focused and locked in. Whether you're teeing off early, powering through the workday, or just need that extra push, Pro Baller delivers. Grab the limited edition Lakers can, available now at Costco, Amazon, and select convenience stores. Pro Baller Energy. Champions choose clean energy.
Accident or injury, call Jacob and Ronnie. Call Jacob.
Winning matters, especially after an accident. At calljacob.com, we're here for you when you need a big win. After an accident, go to calljacob.com or call 844-24-JACOB. That's 844-24-JACOB.
Progressive understands that bond between you and your boat. But imagine if something happened to it. Without the boat, you're just Tina with too much boat knowledge. Sure, it's helpful on the water, but with no boat, you're someone who talks way too much about knots, and no one cares what a jib is anyway. Boat Tina could get away with it because she has a boat. So make sure your boat is insured. Get Progressive, America's #1 boat insurer, and then go back to being you, Tina, who owns a boat. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and Affiliates. #1 rating based on boat market share data from ratefilings.com.
Oh my God, is this your house?
This is the humble abode.
Oh my God, it's so humble.
FX presents Adults.
You don't know your social security number?
No, I do. It's just my mom, knows the whole thing.
A new comedy about 20-somethings achieving zero anythings.
What is the worst that happens?
I go broke. I can't pay my loans. I start an OnlyFans, but only you guys subscribe.
I can't do OnlyFans.
Yeah, you wouldn't make it on there, so sorry.
FX's Adults. Wednesdays on FX. All episodes streaming on Hulu.
And yes, welcome to the Travis and DeMarco Show. Now mornings, 9 a.m. to noon on 710 ESPN. Your destination for LA sports. Let's get back to the fellas. The Travis and DeMarco Show continues right now.
A little peek behind the curtain. So when I texted you guys the article yesterday about the sale, Jorge, you can't guess. Where do you think I was when I saw that?
Movies?
Andy?
Say it again one more time.
Where do you think I was when I sent you guys that article yesterday?
Where were you? If not a movie,
swimming.
I was at a Chick-fil-A drive-thru, and I was getting mad because the person in front of me was taking too long to order, and I was just like, oh. And so I looked at my phone, I was like, oh my gosh, and then I sent it to you guys. Anyway, that's a little peek. But
okay, hold on. What did you get?
What I usually get, and I also had a little bit of rewards to use, but I get an 8-count nugget.
Okay.
And I got a Diet Coke.
Chicken nuggets are hard to beat.
I just need some protein.
They're so good.
But today, in non-Laker news, today in 2016 was when we witnessed potentially the greatest comeback maybe that we've seen in sports. I don't know. To me, it might be up there. The 3-1 comeback for the Cavs against the Warriors to win LeBron in Cleveland with Kyrie. Incredible, just.
So today's the day they closed it out.
Today's the day they came
7?
back fully in Game 7.
Okay, yeah, I mean it's a good one. It's It's a very good one because that Warrior team wasn't just a champion. That was the 73-win Warrior team. It's extraordinary.
It really speaks to how much internally they value Draymond Green.
Yeah.
Because Draymond played a very direct role, and he's even acknowledged, I bleeped up, when he kicked whoever it was in the was it LeBron?
Yeah, it was.
Yeah, and he ended up getting suspended, and they lost the game where he wasn't there, and that led directly to the Cavaliers winning that. You got to have a lot of juice and value within an organization that they didn't immediately say, bye-bye.
Yeah, get the bricks, dude. Yeah, no.
Especially when it's not like it was Draymond's first offense.
No, and by the way, Draymond is still behaving like Draymond.
Yes, he is.
And they still are like, yeah, you can stay. I mean, he caved in a teammate's face, and they kept him. I mean,
it showed how much they disliked. Was it Poole?
Jordan Poole. But it's usually when you assault a teammate, that's we gotta make some decisions.
Although I don't remember which teammate it was that he hit. But I remember Bobby Portis when he was a member of the Bulls.
Mirotic.
Yeah, he hit Mirotic, and it was very clear the reaction from everybody around that team was, go Bobby.
Yeah.
Mirotic must have bugged a lot of people.
He was not popular in the locker room.
And so where do you think that comeback ranks in the comeback of the last century, or in this century? So it's like Boston Red Sox.
That's the one that jumps to the front of mind.
Patriots in Super Bowl, 20-3.
Yeah, that was a good one too. But again, that Tom Brady did a thing, it's amazing. But the Red Sox one not only was 3-0 we'd never seen, and that was 3-0. 3-0 we'd never seen before. It was the Yankees doing the thing to the Red Sox that the Yankees had always done to the Red Sox.
The Lakers coming back from, I believe it was down 15 in the fourth quarter against Portland.
Yeah.
That was massive because remember, that was the first year with Phil.
Yeah.
Think how much things look different if they end up having that collapse under Phil. It might have prompted Dr. Buss to say, you know what, really, this thing between Kobe and Shaq, it cannot work.
Yeah.
I'm guessing at the time they likely choose Shaq over Kobe.
Probably.
Because Shaq was the more established guy.
Yeah.
Phil Jackson had a better relationship with Shaq than Kobe. Phil actually, I believe during that same season, had wanted to trade Kobe for Jason Kidd and Sean Marion, I think it was, with Phoenix, and Dr. Buss said no. But if they end up having that type of collapse with that type of animosity, who knows how things change?
Yeah, what's that? Chaos theory, right? The butterfly effect.
Yep.
That's what it is. Yeah. Who knows?
Butterfly flaps its wings in another country, and then
hurricane on the other side of the world. Let's try another phone call here. 877-710-ESPN. Let's go to Glendale this time. And Jerry, what's going on?
Hey, it's a great show, guys.
Thank you.
Thanks, Jerry.
You are right on. You're right above the target. Pelinka has been there for 8 years. He's leaving us a mess. The first 2 years, you blame Magic for trading Zubac, but Pelinka gets all the credit for the championship. He weaseled his way. He just signed a new contract. He is leaving us a mess. What happened to Caruso? Look at all the different players we lost.
Okay,
we didn't have to. He took Taylor Horton Tucker over Caruso.
Probably want that one back.
Yeah, that's one you want back. Jerry, thank you for the phone call. And you're right. And I'm not pushing back on the bad deals that you mentioned, Jerry, and that he's had a long time here. All of those things are true. What I think is important going forward is there's no more kicking the can down the road. There's no more, we'll do a new coach. We'll do a new coach. We'll do a new coach. He will be held. He will be evaluated. It will be vetted. Is this the right person for the job? And if Mark Walter and his team of people feel that yes, then it's yes. If they feel no and they want to go find the NBA equivalent of Andrew Friedman somewhere else, they will go do that. You know, Ned Colletti it wasn't like Rob Pelinka, but Ned Colletti's a lifer in baseball, been around, did a pretty good job.
I actually thought Ned Colletti, considering what he was working with in the McCourt era before
100%.
that, I think Ned Colletti was pretty good.
He did, and he did a good job, but he was there for 3 years under Mark Walter, and they evaluated, they decided they wanted to do something different. They did, and they went and found is the wrong word, they went and hired Andrew Friedman. Andrew Friedman was a known commodity, but they did the thing. Who's the smartest guy in the room? Who's really good at this? Who has done it without a ton of resources? And what if we give them all the resources that they need? And we've seen what it's turned into. I think that's one of the first places you look. When you come in, you get all your people where you want them to be, and you start looking around, that's one of the first places I would look. And it will be looked at.
One of the things that I'm pretty confident will change. I'm not saying Rob Pelinka only has his job because of the relationship with Jeannie and that connection that has been there for a long time. If for no other reason than Jeannie may legitimately think Rob is very good at this job. Like, regardless of however we may feel, people listening may feel, whatever, like, I am willing to believe Jeannie thinks he's good at it. But there is no question that relationship created a protective layer for Rob. That layer is no longer there.
Yeah.
Like, that relationship does not exist between him and Mark Walter. Doesn't mean that Rob is out.
Nope, it doesn't. It means he will be evaluated on his performance.
Right. And if nothing else, what I think is going to happen is Rob is going to need to either be more willing, more open, whatever, to having more people around him with a equal or even greater voice, because that's clearly the way the Dodgers have been run. And I think if Rob is resistant to that and instead is thinking about what's the best way to conserve my power, then I don't think he'll be around long at all.
And it's all of it together. Like, you look at what I know we said Andrew Friedman's name a lot of times too, but it's Stan Kasten too. Like, they just have really skilled people at every layer of this. It's from team president to president of baseball ops to general manager to coaches to scouts to the way that they travel, the way that they rehab people, like it's just everything, the way that they renovated their ballpark. The Dodgers spent $500 million since Mark Walter's come in to renovate Dodger Stadium. It's better than it was 12 years ago, 15 years ago. They've done a really good job. They continue to evaluate all these different things. They find the right people, they put them in, and they let them go to work.
And look, if you happen to believe that Rob Pelinka could be better at the job,
maybe
if he had more infrastructure around it, if he had more outside perspective, more experience that he can draw on, Rob's going to be in a better position to succeed.
Yep.
Like if Rob Pelinka ends up with this organization, same job for the next 10 years, it is likely because this new ownership group empowered him to be better at his job.
And if it doesn't, then there'll be somebody else.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
It's the best of both worlds. One way or the other, it's going to get better.
Yes.
Whether it's with him or without him, it will be better. Do you know a high school senior who is a leader, a scholar, and an athlete? If you do, why not nominate them for an ESPN LA All-Star Student presented by Rotolo Chevrolet? There are 5 winners, right? There are 5 winners. Each of them receives a $500 scholarship, VIP treatment at our All-Star Friday night event. Nominate your student today at ESPNLA.com. Thanks to Rotolo Chevrolet, the #1 Chevy dealer in the West region in California, 13 years in a row. Come see what all the fun's about. Be your own kid. Your grandson, your niece, your nephew, your next door neighbor, the kid that walks your dog for you, somebody that deserves something like this, go nominate him right now, ESPNLA.com. Let's go back to that conversation, or start the conversation. Is Mark Walter now the most powerful owner in sports? It's coming up next. Trav and Andy, 710 ESPN.
We may get some news today.
If it breaks,
it'll be one of the biggest stories.
It'll be the biggest story of 2025.
Yeah, really?
Yeah, if it breaks.
The Bus family is passing the Showtime torch.
And, with Mark Walter as our owner and everything that's backing with what he did to the Dodgers, I'm all for turning the Lakers into an evil empire. I'm down for that.
The home of the Lakers, 710 ESPN, and on YouTube at ESPN Los Angeles.
Hey guys, it's Sedano. Los Angeles International Airport's People Mover trains begin rolling early next year as part of LAX's ongoing investments to transform and improve your travel journey. The People Mover trains will quickly move guests between their terminals and our new consolidated rental car center, metro trains and buses, economy parking, and Kiss and Fly lot. The trains will make it simple and fast to get to your LAX destination in 10 minutes or less, and trains depart every 2 minutes beginning in early 2026. Learn more at lawa.org/ESPN.
30 years ago, Wu-Tang Clan changed hip-hop forever. Now, it's time for the Final Chamber. Live in Los Angeles, Wu-Tang Clan, together, live on stage, the beginning of their final tour. Live this Sunday at Crypto.com Arena with Run the Jewels. Get tickets now at WuTangClan.com. Wu-Tang Forever, the Final Chamber. Produced by AEG Presents.
Hey guys, it's Sedano. If you're ready to upgrade your driving experience, you gotta go and check out what's happening at Cadillac and their incredible new lineup of state-of-the-art EVs, sedans, and SUVs. And hey, look, there's no better place to experience the luxury of Cadillac than at Cadillac of Beverly Hills. Check out Cadillac of Beverly Hills and their beautiful showroom at 8767 Wilshire Boulevard in Beverly Hills. And check them out on the web at CadillacBeverlyHills.com.
Hey, it's Mace. In tough times, a lot of people find themselves owing money to the IRS. It can really weigh you down, and you're confused about the right way to handle it. And all those scary ads on the radio about the IRS, they don't help. Tax relief advocates want you to relax, knowing that whether you owe $5,000, $50,000, $500,000 in tax debt, you don't have to fear the IRS another day. TRA has a proven 3-step tax resolution process, plus they're experts at working with special programs available from the IRS to help taxpayers get back on track. Easy to see why they have over 1,000 5-star reviews on Google and an A+ rating with the Better Business Bureau. If you owe money to the IRS and feel trapped, don't lose hope. Tax relief advocates could reduce or even eliminate your debt. End your tax nightmare today. Simply visit TRA.com or call 800-575-1482. That's 800-575-1482. Again, 800-575-1482.
This is the next phase in my therapeutic work.
Nicole Kidman returns for the Hulu original 9 Perfect Strangers Season 2.
Breathe in, breathe out.
This is safe?
We take you back to a core trauma. Breathe in, breathe out.
She is manipulating us.
Breathe in, breathe out. While you're resisting.
Is it too late to get a refund? The all-new season of 9 Perfect Strangers is now streaming on Hulu and Disney+. New episodes Wednesdays.
Life insurance. Why are you putting it off? Can't afford it? Too much hassle? Think you don't need it? There's lots of excuses for putting off life insurance. But if you weren't there, who would pay the mortgage and other bills? With Ethos, you could be covered in 10 minutes and boom, family protected. Ethos, fast and easy online term life insurance. Up to $2 million in coverage with no medical exam. Some policies as low as $1 a day. Answer a few health questions and get your free quote at ethos.com/game. That's ethos.com/game.
And yes, welcome to the Travis and DeMarco Show. Now mornings, 9 a.m. to noon on 710 ESPN, your destination for LA sports. Let's get back to the fellas. The Travis and DeMarco Show continues right now.
It's ESPN LA's Legends Launch, presented by Legends Attic. It's all part of ESPN LA's 4th annual All-Star Friday Night, coming up on July 11th. You know where it is. It's at the West Covina Sportsplex. You get to step up to the plate, take your shot in a high-energy challenge to hit as many balls as you can in 90 seconds. Bring your own bat and helmet. Bring your big swing. Spots are limited. Head to ESPNLA.com right now to reserve your spot. Step up, swing big, be legendary. And I got it right again. I couldn't say our guest's his title, something about the finance something or other was tripping me up, but I got that one knocked down. Mark Walter buys the Lakers yesterday. Mark Walter has owned the Dodgers for a number of years. He owns an F1 team. He's got the Cadillac F1 team that he owns. He owns the Sparks.
Chelsea.
He's got a piece of of Chelsea. He owns a I believe it's a women's hockey team. He's got a lot of things.
He owns a squash team.
A squash. Okay.
I believe he owns a squash.
Can I ask
team.
a dumb question?
Sure.
Is squash the same as racquetball? It's just a different racket?
I believe the court and the rules are a little bit different. It is certainly in the same family, along with tennis, racquetball, and pickleball.
Okay, because it looks exactly the same. It's just you play it with a different racket.
I had a good friend in high school who was very into squash, played a lot of squash, and he insisted to me that it is a different game than racquetball.
Okay, I've never played. I've played racquetball, but I just... Man, once I see you in that glass room, I assume it's all the same.
Okay, when we were kids, like late 70s, early 80s, racquetball was having a moment.
There were racquetball clubs on every corner. There were like gas stations and Circle Ks. They're everywhere.
Really fun game to play.
Great workout too.
It's a great workout. I wish that I had more time and access to racquetball.
Yeah.
I would play that all the time.
It's super fun. And plus it's a sport with like 4 walls. It's a lot of fun. All right. Mark Walter, to get back to the point, is he the most powerful owner in sports now? Because we've seen guys own. Stan Kroenke owns a lot of teams. Stan Kroenke's teams are very, very good. The Rams are a prestigious NFL organization. He owns the Denver Nuggets, who won a title. He owns the Colorado Avalanche, which won the Stanley Cup. But
am I correct that the Harris with the Commanders, that he owns other teams as well? Or
yeah,
pieces of other teams?
He's got the Sixers as well.
I thought so.
Yeah, he's got the Sixers and the Commanders. The Lakers and the Dodgers are a different animal.
That is the equivalent of Ice Cube slamming down Domino.
Yes. That's it, right?
You're not beating that.
You even if, like, I guess if Jerry Jones bought the Yankees, maybe or the Steinbrenners bought the Cowboys.
That would honestly tilt the world
or
off
the
its
Knicks.
axis.
If they bought the Yankees and the Knicks were owned by the same person, I mean,
I don't know. It's an interesting conversation. Dodgers and Lakers or Yankees and Knicks? I think because the Lakers are so much better than the Knicks.
The Knicks, here's the thing. If you take the Knicks out of New York, and I recognize that's a big if, but if you take the Knicks out of New York, they're a team that has not won a championship since, I believe, 1973.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, they are mostly a big deal because they're in New York.
Yeah.
The Lakers and the Dodgers, it's obviously a big deal they're in L.A., but they have had a lot of sustained success. The Knicks have largely been a joke. They're just a high-profile joke.
they're more like the Bulls or the Bears.
It kills me to say this, but the Yankees historically they're worth more than the Dodgers, and I get it. Okay, fine. But it's kind of close. The gap between the Knicks and the Lakers is gigantic.
Because if you talked about the power piece of it, like, unless you're defining the power by how much are each franchise worth, and if that's the case, then maybe Yankees, Knicks would trump Lakers, Dodgers, maybe.
Yeah.
But in terms of the juice that you get because of the success of your organization, honestly, the Knicks are dragging you down.
It's not the Niners and the Giants don't qualify. The Cubs,
I mean, it'd be great. Don't get me wrong.
Cubs and the Bulls, no.
Celtics, Sox, no.
That's pretty good.
That'd be pretty good. But I still think it's third in that race.
LeBron, by the way, a minority owner with the Sox.
Yeah, he's in that Fenway group.
Yeah.
It's an incredibly exciting time. And that, again, when the announcement was made yesterday, it wasn't just that the Lakers got sold, which was shocking, which was exciting, frankly, because, infusion of new ideas, fresh blood, different way of doing business, that's always kind of exciting, no matter who's coming in. But it's not just some random rich person that bought this team. It's a rich person that we're very familiar with, that has a track record, that has a proof of concept, that, by the way, while heavily involved, is not meddlesome. Like, it's just he's involved and he's running the show, but you never hear his name involved with, like, the day-to-day activities of him doing this, that, or the other thing, the way that, like, an Artie Moreno or a Jerry Jones or Matt Ishbia, these other guys are involved in it to varying degrees of success or buffoonery. This is just smooth and works and awesome.
Look, it's not going to always be perfect forever. Like, there have been bumps with the Dodgers. I mean, as great as Mark Walter and Andrew Freeman, Stan Kass, and all those guys have been, like, the minute the Tyler Glasnow announcement hit, all of us were like, wait, what?
Yeah.
And why?
Yeah.
And, like, are you sure about this? That's a very un-Dodger, un-Friedman thing to do. And thus far, it feels like the skeptics were correct. Like, that may have been a really bad signing.
Their batting average is really good.
Of course.
And that's why I think that generally it's so, because you're going to, and by the way, they're active. It's not like they're so cautious that they don't make mistakes. They're highly aggressive in the market and still have a hit rate that is above what you would expect.
Right. The only reason I bring up the Glasnow thing is just to remind people that Mark Walter doesn't equal everything's going to be perfect. That's not the way these things work. You just have to look at, is your organization being run well? Are they putting the best people in charge of things? Do they have the finances to compete? Do they have the intelligence to spend the money well?
So you said, does it mean everything's going to be perfect? No, I agree. Let me ask you a different question. Does it mean that it's going to be a lot better?
Yeah.
And I think it's yes.
I would be stunned if it's not.
That's what I'm saying. Is it going to be perfect? No, but is it going to be not just better, but a lot better? I think you'd have to squint really hard to come up with no. Of course it is.
I'd be shocked if it's not. Look, the money in and of itself makes things better. Like we talked about before, Ishbia is a loon, but in a lot of ways, Matt Ishbia, the owner of the Suns, said loon. In some ways, he is better to do this job or better to be at the top of ownership than Jeannie Buss, even though I think Jeannie Buss is less of a loon, more competent than Matt Ishbia.
Yeah.
Matt Ishbia in some ways is better for this simply because he has more money.
Yeah.
Like money is a mandatory baseline in all of this, and the Buss family could no longer meet it. And that's why this had to happen. I think it's just happening with the best possible guy.
Yeah, absolutely. The Dump is coming up next. It's Trav and is in for DeMarco on 710 ESPN.
The biggest show on the radio.
Mason in Ireland is next at noon after Travis and DeMarco.
For people who don't know, Mark Walter is the head of the Guggenheim Group that runs the Dodgers. And Mace, you have always said, what you really want is Yankees West.
Yankees West.
With endless deep pockets. We now have not as much money as Steve Ballmer, but pretty darn close.
Damn close.
This is massive.
The OGs of LA Sports Talk.
Mason and Ireland on 710.
Next Gen is the official AC, heating, plumbing, and electrical company of SoCal sports fans. And for a limited time, Next Gen is offering $500 off any whole home water purification system. You may not know it, but our water here in SoCal contains pesticides, lead, forever chemicals, chlorine, and more. Call 833-3-NEXT-GEN. That's 833-3-NEXGEN. CSLB number 1011173. Next Gen, here for you now and for years to come.
NEXGEN, call 833-3-NEXT-GEN.
Everyone knows Earl Hershiser has won numerous awards for his performance on the field. But off the field, he's a great humanitarian, a true friend and partner of mine, and a real bulldog when it comes to business.
Baseball taught me to work hard and respect people. Rotolo Chevrolet does both, and that's why I joined the team.
Rotolo Chevrolet has been Dealer of the Year for 12 straight years. Like Earl, we know something about winning.
I believe they call that a dynasty.
Come see what the fun is all about at Rotolo Chevrolet.
Evan Cohen here. Whether you're locking in your home run picks or riding with your favorite golfers this summer, ESPN Bet is your sports book for all the action. Go from checking stats on your favorite teams and players to placing bets in just a few taps. Plus, new customers can get $100 in bonus bets when you make your first $10 wager. Download the ESPN Bet app and sign up with promo code USL to get started today. Must be 21 plus. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. Terms and conditions apply. See app for details. Offer not available in New York.
All power, zero compromise. Ego cordless outdoor power equipment features advanced lithium battery technology that exceeds the power and performance of gas without the noise, fuss, or fumes. From mowers and trimmers to blowers and pressure washers, one battery powers over 90 tools. No wonder it's the #1 rated brand in cordless outdoor power. Power beyond belief. Visit egopowerplus.com to learn more or to find an Ego retailer near you. That's egopowerplus.com.
It's time for everything we haven't gotten to today. Yes, it's time for the dump.
All right, so obviously, and for good reason, we spent the entirety of the show talking about the Dodgers. The Dodger owner, Mark Walter, is now the Laker owner, Mark Walter. That happened yesterday. But there is Game 6 of the NBA Finals tonight. OKC has a chance to close it out. Halliburton's going to play. He's probably hobbled a little bit. This feels like the end of the line for the 2025 NBA season.
And no closer. Scott Foster will not be the officiate.
He will not be
tonight.
there. Okay.
No extender. The extender.
What did I say?
You said the closer.
Oh, yeah. The extender. I mean, one and the same.
Scott Foster will not be involved.
Look, the Pacers have been incredibly resilient, and they have overcome obstacles over and over and over. And we've seen Halliburton is pretty money in the last 2 or 3 minutes of a game if it's close. That being said, OKC is the better team. I think they've been gaining more control of the series as it goes along. OKC in 6 was my original prediction for whatever it's
You're
worth.
on a heater, Andy. You've got a lot of predictions
yesterday, when before we even knew the sale was a possibility, we were just talking about what would a team like the Lakers be worth, because it was after the Rays got sold.
Yeah.
And I said somewhere between $10 to $12 million. Boom.
Boom. What are the winning lottery numbers for tomorrow?
I know everything about billionaire business other than finding the money.
Yeah, details. Emmett Sheehan returned to the Dodger rotation last night and was terrific. We would have spent a lot of time talking about him under normal circumstances today. He did a thing, and both he and Robleski, who pitched the second half of the game, Sheehan pitched 4, Robleski pitched the final 5 innings of the game. They didn't walk anybody. And I don't care if it's coach pitch 8-year-old, if it's, little league, high school, college baseball, minor league baseball, major league baseball. If you don't walk people, you're really hard to beat. And they didn't walk anybody last night, and Sheehan looked great in his return. I mean, that's a guy that you could almost slide into the middle of the rotation for the rest of the season, assuming health, and feel pretty good about it.
I mean, they need some viable starters.
Viable.
Not even go 6-7 innings, like dudes who can start a game so we can use a bullpen guy later.
Yeah.
Like just some type of organizational structure.
Yesterday was the modern, the MLB 2025 equivalent of a complete game. You only use 2 guys. that almost never happens anymore. It's the first time, they said it during the telecast last night. It's the first time that a Dodger reliever had thrown 5 scoreless innings in a game in something like 15 years. And you just don't ask people to do that. I was a little surprised they ran him back out there for the bottom of the 9th inning. And then when he gave up a couple of runs, you're like, Will Smith walked
you
it
and I
off
are
at the
old enough,
bottom
Travis,
of
to
the 9th.
remember when a closer used to close out 3 innings.
I'd pitch 3 innings 4 times a week.
Lee Smith would start and close.
Lee Smith was
And we
awesome.
walked to and from the school
That's
uphill
right.
5 miles each day.
Will Smith. So remember when you all looked at me and said I was crazy, and I was. But about Max, DeMarco asked me a question. How could somebody on the Dodgers win an MVP when Ohtani is in the mix and Mookie's in the mix and Freddie? And I said, well, it wouldn't be easy, but a guy like Muncy could do it under these circumstances.
And then we cut it off and we aggregated that you think Muncy's the MVP.
Right, I understand. But Will Smith is kind of doing what I said that another guy could do, which is have a bunch of opportunities, have a great year, and have these other guys just be, and Ohtani's not being normal, but he's being 1% less Ohtani-ish than he was last year, to where we've become all he's doing is leading the National League in home runs and runs scored. That's it. That Will Smith actually is kind of standing out a little bit. That's how it could happen.
We talked yesterday about how by baseball standards, Mookie Betts is having a very good offensive year.
Yeah.
By Mookie Betts standards, he needs to get his bleep together.
Right. Will Smith does not. Will Smith is...
He's also very good against the Padres. I think I heard someone say that he's maybe above 500 against the Padres.
He's killing them. And last night is here's another reason why him getting MVP consideration, let's call it that at this point, is not totally far-fetched. Dalton Rushing had the hit earlier in the game that scored a couple of runs. Having a viable offensive player at that position allows Will Smith to get off his feet periodically, to stay a little fresher, to use. You have another very effective bat off the bench that they deployed last night. With Austin Barnes, with all due respect, guy was an automatic out. So on any days that you're going to catch him, you're going 8 on 9. You're not going 8 on 9 with Dalton Rushing. He can do some damage, and it frees Smith up to do more stuff.
And another thing, with Ohtani as a permanent DH, you don't get the opportunity all the time to have Will Smith, again, hit on nights like last night outside of a pinch opportunity.
I wonder if that doesn't change slightly. That with Ohtani's return to the rotation, if the day after he pitches, I'm not saying you give him the day off every time, but maybe as needed, instead of 0 days off during the year, he gets 4, 5. Something like that.
We talked about how it looked like the next day after he pitched, where he had 4 strikeouts, like highest as a Dodger.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe he was feeling sore in ways that he hasn't before because he hasn't pitched like that. Mentally fatigued. There's a lot going on. We'll see how he looks after his next start, because that's coming up soon.
He had a couple of balls last night to the warning track that missed going out by a couple of feet. And he didn't hit either one of those balls hard.
Look,
they both went to the
he might need
track.
1 day off after pitching. He's not going to need multiple.
A couple of birthdays here. Paula Abdul, happy 63rd birthday to, speaking of the Lakers, Paula Abdul, former, she was the choreographer and a member of
the original Laker girl, the reason why Laker girls pretty much exist.
That's right.
It's like being the president of the Hair Club of Men.
That's right. Not only I'm not only the president, I'm also a member.
Exactly. And American Idol host, judge.
Who? Oh, yeah, that's right.
She was Scat Cat.
No, that was a weird video. Dirk Nowitzki turns 47 years old today, and Lou Gehrig would be celebrating what I would assume would be over his 100th birthday if he were still with us.
I got to figure it'd be over 100. Let me look this up right
now. So
now.
Lou Gehrig was in his he's probably 125, right? Because Lou Gehrig was famous in the 30s.
Look this
in
up
the
right
20s
now.
and 30s, and so he was probably in his 20s there. Lou Gehrig was born when?
Back to
1903.
So he'd be 122.
122.
Back to Dirk real quick. Do you think that the Mavericks have irrevocably harmed the relationship with Dirk with what happened to Luka?
No.
Don't know about permanently, but I will say this. It's frosty at the moment.
Yeah, that stuff comes around. The new ownership comes in.
The Lakers spent 3 years openly trying to trade Pau Gasol, and then they eventually brought him back. They've retired his number. He's been an ambassador for the organization.
Supercross Talk is coming up next.
All over the Bus family selling the Lakers.
How does Jeannie remain being the governor while not being majority owner?
She is in charge for the foreseeable future. I don't know how many years it is. I think it's more than 1, more than 2 probably, maybe even 3. I don't know how long that's written into the contract, but it's written in the contract.
The Bus family is passing the Showtime torch.
The home of the Lakers, 710 ESPN, the all-new ESPN LA app, and on YouTube at ESPN Los Angeles.
The biggest event of the summer is coming to Honda Center. Saturday, June 28th. Most Valuable Promotions presents global boxing star Jake Paul on his path to becoming world champion. Taking on Mexico's former world champion, Julio Cesar Chavez Jr. Get your tickets at Ticketmaster.com. In the co-main event, Gilberto Zurdo Ramirez defends his world titles against Cuba's knockout artist, Yuniel Dorticos. Former boxing and UFC champ Holly Holm returns live from the Honda Center on Saturday, June 28th. Jake Paul versus Julio Cesar Chavez Jr.
Waba Grill is an LA original, so we've got to keep it real. Real fresh with our Asian-inspired menu that's grilled to order every time.
Pick me up and never put me down.
Real quality with our marinated proteins like hormone-free chicken, ribeye steak, wild-caught salmon, and shrimp. Enjoy $5 happy hour weekdays after 3 p.m. with our 5-piece pork veggie dumplings and a value-sized premium beverage drink like our creamy and delicious Thai tea. Waba Grill, keeping it real every day for you.
Hey guys, it's Sedano. In the market for new flooring? Why pay more at big box stores? At Hernandez Wholesale Flooring, every day is a deal, no gimmicks. Call 866-62-FLOOR or visit them online at hernandezwholesaleflooring.net. No sale beats wholesale.
Collectors, Front Row Card Show is back at the Pasadena Convention Center on June 21st and 22nd. Biggest show ever! Baseball, football, basketball, and hockey cards, plus Pokemon, Marvel, Star Wars, and comic books. CGC and JSA will be there. So bring your cards, comics, and autographs to sell, trade, or get them graded. More than 500 tables, thousands of dollars in free prizes. Don't miss it! Front Row Card Show, Pasadena Convention Center, Saturday and Sunday, June 21st and 22nd, 11 to 5. For more info, go to frontrowcardshow.com. That's frontrowcardshow.com.
LA's mega sports station.
710 ESPN.
Hey guys, it's Sedano. Los Angeles International Airport's People Mover trains begin rolling early next year as part of LAX's ongoing...
Welcome to Big Tobacco's Fantasyland, where they want you to believe vapes are calming and pretend nicotine won't lead to increased anxiety and depression. Big Tobacco's Fantasyland is a nightmare for us all.
Learn more at lawa.org/ESPN.
4th of July savings start now at Carden Alleyway Hyundai. Lease a brand new Hyundai Elantra SCL Sport for just $219 a month for 36 months with only $34.99 due at signing. Drive with confidence backed by America's best warranty, 10 years or 100,000 miles, and Hyundai's exclusive owner assurance program. Visit us off the 91 freeway or schedule your test drive now at CardinAlleyWayHyundai.com.
With SU94 4151, $34.99 due at signing plus tax. License $85 doc fee and registration. No security deposit. 10,000 miles per year. Offer expires 7/7/2025.
Hey Rams fans, it's your quarterback Matthew Stafford here. Join me for Walk United LA at the Rose Bowl Stadium on July 20th. Participants can walk or run to support fire recovery efforts and our most vulnerable LA communities. Learn more at walkunitedla.org. See you there.
ESPN AM 710 Los Angeles. KRDC AM 1110 Pasadena, Los Angeles.
K256CX 99.1 FM Pasadena, Los Angeles.
It's the greatest segment in LA sports radio history.
Oh my God. When the shows come together for magic on the radio.
It will only grow stronger. It's time for Super Crosstalk.
All right, so
that's a $10 billion.
With that in mind,
yes,
Andy and I have been obviously spending all day on this.
I've been listening.
And how much? Give me like a pie breakdown, a percentage breakdown, however you want to do it. Is the general excitement of Laker fans, me, everybody, that is their Lakers will have a new owner, new blood, fresh ideas, fresh perspective, new energy, new lots this, that, and the other, that. Lots of money. And how much of it is Mark Walter bought the Lakers that is bringing this level of excitement?
Well, because he's familiar to fans and they've had such success with the Dodgers, I can see why so many people are getting excited. They're not just getting a new owner. They're getting the owner.
Right.
They'd get the guy that, like, if you would have come to Mason and I a week ago and said, Lakers are for sale, who do you want to buy them? We would have gone, well, the dream is Mark Walter.
Well, what's funny is yesterday we got about a 30-minute heads up on this. We couldn't announce it.
Yeah, I heard.
But we did hear it,
yeah.
and there were
so
gigantic
when
teases.
we were teasing, did you know what we were teasing?
I did not.
This could be something.
I did not.
And
I'll be honest. I honestly okay.
What'd you think it was?
I thought it would be big, but I thought that maybe you guys were being a little hyperbolic. Like when you said it will be the biggest story of 2025, I'm like, okay, this will be a big deal, but we'll see.
You were right. I kept saying to Mason after I said it, am I exaggerating? Am I guilty of hyperbole here? And he's like,
in my mind, like
for
maybe
once you're not.
Maybe LeBron might be retiring, like something like that.
Sure.
Yeah,
I saw a lot of like Twitter, social media reaction to Ireland and you teasing this, Mace.
Mm-hmm.
And the overwhelming reaction was they're going to announce that they have a new deal. And this is so lame. They're building this up, and it's just going to be their new deal.
Awful.
And this is, they're like, even by Ireland standards of hyperbole, this is lame.
So yesterday when it was coming down, Ireland and I were having who could it be? Who could it be? Because we didn't know who it was.
We thought it would be one of three people. We thought it would be Patrick Soon-Chong, Phil Anschutz, or Mark Walter.
Okay.
And we were rooting for Walter. We were rooting for Walter, and that's who it turned out to be.
So let's say it wasn't Walter. That we're all in here right now, and it was Mr. X. Okay.
Right. Okay.
And we're having an excited conversation about what's coming next. It's always exciting about the unknown, but it's nothing like this. It's just because there's proof of concept, like you guys were saying, that it's hire the smartest people to do the smartest things, give them every possible resource they need to implement their vision, and then let them go do it. That's the dream scenario.
At some point yesterday, I said that this is going to launch the Lakers into the stratosphere because now they can't be outspent. And I got text, social media put that quote out on our feed, and I get text, come on, Ireland, there's a salary cap. Mark Walter doesn't have as much money as Steve Ballmer, and what people are not grasping is it's not players that they can spend money on. It's everything else.
Infrastructure.
It's what the Dodgers spend on $500 million for the stadium.
2 planes to travel the team.
Yeah. Right. I'm now off the team plane, I'm sure. I think I've been
You're on the auxiliary plane.
The Cleveland Indians plane from Major League.
You're number 2 on the number 2 plane.
Still probably a nice plane, though.
Terrell and I are riding in steerage now. But
you think about it, scouting and international scouting
analytics
and
trainers, coaches, all of it.
Upgrades of facility, like all that stuff, because the buses have an indelible legacy in this town.
Sure,
but they're cash poor.
Yeah.
They're cash poor. All of their money was locked up in the
team.
So they couldn't necessarily do all the stuff, and now this guy has got nothing but dough.
But also nothing but intelligence and vision
Correct.
and experience with it. Because, look, we were talking about this earlier. This needed to happen at some point, period. For the reasons you just mentioned, Mace, the buses just don't have the liquidity to keep up with the Joneses in the NBA. Somebody like Matt Ishbia, who just bought the Suns and who is a freaking loon.
Yep.
I mean, he is a lunatic, and I think he is thus far running the Suns into the ground. Somebody like him, at least in terms of the money, would have been a better option than the Buss family, even though I think Jeannie is better as the ultimate shot caller than Matt Ishbia because she's not a loon.
Right.
But you need a certain amount of money to ride, to be tall enough to ride this ride. But they got the right money guy.
I think another way to I agree with everything you said, and I think another way of explaining it is pretend we're all at a poker table. The Lakers were playing really well, but they had a small stack.
Yep.
Yeah.
They were doing the most they could with the cards that they had, and they were pretty successful at doing it. Now they got a big stack.
Yep.
So now they can compete.
And an experienced poker player.
Right.
Right.
Somebody who's played.
Who
and
knows how to play.
And by the way, we've seen him play.
Yeah,
And
and
we know he's
got
real
bracelets to continue the
good.
poker analogy.
He's got a lot of bracelets.
What is the timeline to, because let's go back a little bit. When Mark Walter bought the Dodgers, one of the first things he did was he made the deal with the Red Sox to bring in a lot of talent, absorbed a lot of money. It was a signal to the Dodger fans that
Adrian
the McCourt,
Gonzalez, all
Adrian
those guys,
Gonzalez,
yeah.
Josh Beckett,
Yep.
Crawford, that group.
Yep.
They come in. And it was, the Dodgers are no longer the team that's running it on a shoestring. That they're acting like the Dodgers again. Then they started to win the division, started to go to the World Series, and here we are. What is the NBA equivalent of that, and what is the timeline for something like that to where the arrival of Mark Walter has led to this? Is it a year? Is it 5 years? What is a realistic timeline?
It's a good question.
Yeah.
I think part of it is tied to LeBron because you can't really make decisions moving forward 100% until LeBron's gone.
Yeah.
And as long as he's playing at an all-NBA level and as long as he's staying, I think you're kind of in a holding pattern. Because what's he making this year? $52 million?
Something like that, yeah.
Yeah, and so as long as he's commanding that much of your salary cap, you're pretty limited in what you could do. But as long as he's playing like an all-NBA player,
Do you have
then
a
it's a good
clarifying
thing.
conversation with him on that? Because you're right, he's still a high-level NBA player, but this 1+1 thing that
You
feels
have
like it's
to
gone
have
on
a
for a million
clarifying
years.
conversation. You
Do we
have
have hey, listen, I need to know what your plan is so we can make our plan.
You have to.
Yeah,
Well, you can ask him.
Yeah,
But if he doesn't answer the way that he hasn't answered previously, is that not an answer in its own way?
John, does he pick up the option or does he do another 1-on-1?
I think he does another 1-on-1.
Another
Wait, Andy, what do
1-on-1,
you
which
think?
means two more
I don't
years.
I think he's going to go grab as much money as he can get.
I hope that the answer is opts into this.
Opts in.
And then from there, if nothing else, even if he stays with the Lakers, they have more control. You cannot keep doing this 1+1 at $50 million a pop in perpetuity. You cannot build a team that way, particularly when you now have a generational star just entering his prime. You can't properly put a team around that.
Right. It does make it really difficult. Now, when all this stuff starts, when the proverbial bag of money gets here, I don't exactly know when he takes control. I don't think any of those details are out there yet. Once we know, we'll have a better idea. But the uncapped league of Major League Baseball is easier. It's easier for money to play there than it is in the NBA because it doesn't necessarily affect what the Lakers are going to do in terms of roster building for this. Do you agree with that, John? I don't think it has a big effect on roster building for the
unless there's a time that
season.
it feels right to go deep into the luxury tax, to actually be in the second apron, because for the time being, this is the best way to build our team. To know that you have the financial resources to do it can be helpful. Like, you legitimately don't want to be at the second apron often because it constricts the way you can build teams. It's not purely about
you lose
money.
Exceptions and all
but
that stuff.
If there's a reason to do it, it helps to have the dough.
Andy, is there another? I know that Phoenix is into the second apron. Is there anyone at other teams that are? Is Golden State?
Celtics. Boston, I like positive are.
I think Boston just got under it, I read.
Well, they've been flirting with it at the very... I mean, Orlando is a team that actually could start flirting with it depending on what happens moving forward with their salaries.
I want to go back to what you said a second ago, Mace, about how, to go back to the poker analogy, the big stack can fix your roster in baseball almost instantaneously.
Yes.
You can do that overnight virtually. But the Dodgers are not the Dodgers because they have the biggest stack. It's in part of that, but the reason they're the Dodgers is because of Andrew Friedman. It's because of Stan Kasten. It's because of their infrastructure and scouting and development. That didn't show up the day he took over. That took some time for Ned Colletti to cycle out, for Andrew Friedman to come in, for Don Mattingly to cycle out, for Dave Roberts to come in. It took 3-4 years.
Yeah, there was like a transition period.
Now they were good. They were kind of similar to where the Lakers are now, where they're in the mix, but they're not near the top of the mix. They're in it, but a lot of stuff would have to break right for you to end up with a title. And they were patient with it. Ned Colletti was here for 3 years after it happened. And again, was doing at worst, a good enough job.
Good enough,
so
sure.
Could the timeline be something similar to evaluate? Say, okay, I like this, not crazy about that. We're going to change that. It could be a half a decade?
It could, simply because the NBA is a capped league and Major League Baseball is not. So, for example, you can...
But that doesn't affect the infrastructure.
But what it does affect is the reason the Dodgers are winning infrastructure or the fact that they went out and spent a ridiculous amount of money on Mookie Betts, Freddie Freeman, and Shohei. I think that's the reason they won the title.
I also think it's both.
But without those three guys, they don't win the title last year. And you guys are all, but you two in particular, Travis and Mace, are calling for Dave Roberts' head.
That part, I 100% agree with you that we'd be calling for his head.
Right.
But could they win the World Series
without Freddie, Shohei, or Mookie?
Probably not, but we've seen teams win the World Series that are not just loaded with star players. They've got one or two. If they had one of those guys, they might be able to do it.
Last year they did it with like one starting pitcher.
That's what I mean.
Yeah,
and we saw Arizona get to the World Series.
We've lost all that starting pitcher. They lost it all last year and still won.
Yeah, Atlanta had Freddie, but Acuna was gone. Like you've got baseball's weird like that if you kind of get into it. But I think the infrastructure, 55-45 infrastructure over talent.
I'd say
the talent matters a great deal.
Talent matters a lot.
Yeah, I think you're severely underrating talent in that analogy. Even putting infrastructure above talent is ridiculous. Infrastructure is important.
Not in baseball.
But so why did the Dodgers win last year?
Because they had really good players and they caught some breaks and their guys were hot at
having
the right time.
I'll say this, because having your bullpen is always a crapshoot anyway. Yeah. Landing on the right bullpen guys, most of them are not.
And it's not
right,
just
but
the right
that
guys.
comes through infrastructure because most of those guys aren't names.
Those guys are not names.
I'll use an example where infrastructure led to the right talent. Tommy Edman. The Dodgers had identified him for years. They'd been trying to acquire him for years.
Right.
And they were finally able because the Cardinals were able to move on from it. They didn't go purchase Tommy Edman.
The Dodgers draft well.
But they were able to make the trade because the infrastructure had provided Miguel Vargas and all of these other guys that had not popped yet to go get a player like that.
Right. I would argue that without Shohei, without Mookie, and without Freddie, the Dodgers don't even get to the World Series.
But I will also say, without the infrastructure, they don't get there either because those bullpen arms they were able to identify in quirky and unusual ways. I mean, you look at it, who was Blake Treinen?
Yeah.
Who was Evan Phillips? Who was
These were guys that
Anthony
were
Bonda.
All of them.
Who's Kasparius?
Yeah.
Who are any of these guys?
You go back to the year before where Arizona went to the World Series. Their best players, Corbin Carroll. I mean, he's not a $50 million a year guy. They're baseball's weird
I
like
think,
that.
I think, like everything else, it's a blend of these two things. It's a blend of infrastructure and talent. The Dodgers obviously got great high-end talent, and because of the infrastructure, their smaller pieces are also terrific.
I can't remember the last time I was this excited about
I know.
something like this.
How
This
about
is
that?
just it is so incredibly exciting. You guys are up next. Andy, thank you again. Beto tomorrow. We'll see you then.
Can Oklahoma City close it out?